Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to what's talk raps. You're listening to what's talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Back at it again, because I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, baby. Oh, I forgot I can see everybody this time because I'm logged in, so I got to see Will going ham to my song. It was great. It was awesome. Great intro.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been getting to see you guys. Let's see, for the last 8 months, I've seen everybody, and so I get to see Reg getting hyped during the song, and I do too. This is how I do, but you've never got to see it till now.
First time.
But yes, this is Grapsody, baby. I'm Will Washington, and shout out SP3 for filling in for me last week.
Yeah,
I knew that if I were going to miss my first episode of Grapsody, I can't believe I was the first one to miss one. But if I were going to miss my first episode of Grapsody, I knew I didn't want anybody else to do it but SP3. So
yeah, he that was a great episode to have him on because he's pretty versed in the New Japan stuff, pretty versed in Impact stuff. Like, perfect timing.
Yeah, agreed.
Shout out to SP3. Thanks for coming through, bro.
Shout out SP3. And also shout out to my boys, my co-hosts. We got Philip Lindsey.
We're in the house, man. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but no, man. A little back-to-back action because I just think 2 years in a row, Chicago has had the best pay-per-view of the year. You know, man. Where I went in, man. You know.
Okay.
92. I seen my man. Put Clyde Drexler and the Portland Trailblazers away. History-making finals. That was where the Jordan shrug meme came from. So only felt right that represented, man. I was watching Warriors celebrate and have their parade last week or week before that.
Let's go, baby.
And it felt good because I'm a Warriors fan. I'm a Steph fan in particular, so it felt good. But I was like, man, summertime shy used to be when confetti rained on the city,
right?
And the boys were out in Grand Park, and it was a
years.
special time. So, right now it feels like a special time because, again, winning, bruh. Chicago, Illinois, mecca of professional wrestling, back-to-back.
Those sons of bitches. I saw, was that banner that was up there at Forbidden Door, was that real? That All Out?
All Out? Yeah, it was.
That's real.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's still there. It was there for Dynamite, too. I think they're going to do like the WrestleMania thing where he's pointing to the side, he's pointing to All Out. So,
If it only felt right, man. And, yeah, man. Money in the Bank is today, too. I don't know if you guys know, but who's the only guy that's going back-to-back at Money in the Bank? Isn't that one CM Punk? Chicago, Illinois resident? Also, point of contention, when he cashed in his first Money in the Bank briefcase, this is a Will Washington question because he's a date guy. What date was that?
So let me think about that. Just give me a second. So it was in July, wasn't it?
It was June 30th, 2008.
Birthday. Okay.
Shit.
All right.
Okay.
I was like, I knew it was close to today. I was almost thinking, is he asking because it's today's day? But no, it was June 30th. All right. I knew the draft was in June. So either way, and he brings that up, folks, for those not aware, because June 30th is the birthday of one. Hold on, let me check my notes here. Philip Lindsey.
Oh, yeah. I think I know that guy.
Yeah,
I think I know him.
He's here in the building. No, once again, really, let's say it out loud. Happy birthday to Philip Lindsey. It was a few days ago. Chi-Town fucking legend, boy.
Should be a national holiday, June 30th. It's a lot of lot of notable names born on that day. You know, Cody
I know,
Rhodes.
right, dude?
Yeah.
I was wishing a lot of happy birthdays on June 30th. I'm like
Come
Cody
on, man.
Rhodes,
I think Faye Jackson.
Yeah.
Faye
like,
Jackson, Iron Mike Tyson, born on the same day.
Man.
Yeah, June 30th, man.
But let's bring it all full circle. You know who I share a birthday with? CM Punk.
Oh, let's go. It's lit around here. Chicago. Chi-town.
Yeah.
All day.
And you know, Righteous Reg is also here. I didn't even get a chance to
in the
introduce
building,
Righteous
it's your
Reg.
fucking man, media man, the greatest of all time, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. It's Righteous Reg, Saturday morning. It's Grapsody. It's fucking lit. It's cold outside in July. It's July 2nd, and like I see fog and clouds in Oakland, California. I'm not mad at it at all. Actually, very excited about it. Thank you.
It's cold outside.
Yeah, it's cold. And it's
I'm
July.
sorry. I'm in for worse. It's about to be 90 today.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. As someone who, you know, is from Bakersfield and it's probably triple digits today. I love this. This is amazing. I'm having the best day. Shout out to the weather.
Great.
Shout out to climate change.
So we've got a lot to talk about this week. I told the story about as a matter of fact, let's talk about Chicago for a minute. This will be the way we open. First thing I want to do is get some of the super chats, humper chats read. And by the way, leave us a thumbs up right here on the channel, youtube.com/Fightful. Just right there. Just give us a little thumbs up, and then you've done your good deed for the day. But not the only good deed, because you could do a good deed like Kai did and say, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Philip Lindsey.
Hey, man. I only spell my first name with one L. Not to be a snob here, but, you know.
No, it's fine. You just gotta let them
One
know.
L, you know.
No, that was you sang the wrong one. It was happy birthday to you. That's the one it should be. This is a black podcast, you guys.
But see, we didn't read that way. So therefore, that's on them, not me. If I saw big capital letters, happy birthday.
What's up?
Which
What
is
did
more
you add?
expensive? Which is more expensive, by the way? Because I know like Warner Media owns one of them, and
How can
I
you
guess
own
Warner
Happy
Bros. is separate.
Birthday?
That's crazy.
They do. The actual
Warner's everybody, they just own it. That's crazy.
They own Happy Birthday to you. They own that. Like you can't actually. You notice like TV shows will use like "For he is a jolly good fellow" and shit like that. Even though you've never heard
nobody sings at
you've never
anybody's
heard that
birthday
anywhere.
party.
You've never heard that anywhere but on television. That's because that song is like actually owned. I think it's by not Warner Media. It's Warner Music Group, which surprisingly aren't actually
They're not
affiliated. Yeah, they're not affiliated. Like I've seen people who are like, "Oh, AEW can use this song because Warner Music Group." Nope, they split off like 30 years ago.
Doesn't Warner also own Wayne's catalog now, or is that Universal?
Universal, I think. Yeah.
Oh, and Van Twinblade is letting me know though that apparently they lost that case, so I guess it is open use now. I know for a number of years it was the case that were like people just couldn't use.
Yeah, and I remember in all the sitcoms they would never do the regular Happy Birthday. They'd always do some freaked out that version or the Happy Birthday to You version. So yeah.
Yep. So, all right. I'm glad it's like opening out there. So happy birthday is on the table. Good. We don't get sued here. We don't get copyright.
Let's
struck
go.
For me
Run that whole thing right now. It's free.
Yep. And so we also got some Humper Chats, and I was told last week that Humper Chats were kind of stuck and weren't able to get read. I am in the process throughout the show, so if you see me looking this way, it's me trying to obtain them because for whatever reason, Streamlabs is only letting me pull up like the last 5 days, and of course, those were 7 days ago, so I'm really trying to get those, and I'm going to get those because I feel that people deserve to have their Humper Chats read.
Definitely. We're going to read everybody's questions.
Yes. And...
Baby. I forgot I could be running super chats too from this side because I'm big time now. I'm in the thing.
Yeah,
I'm one of those.
Look, and let me also say, by the way, I said this before the show that I showed Reg this morning where the intro actually was, but I thought him rapping the intro was the funniest fucking shit.
I'm glad it was some form of entertainment because I was stressed. But now I know
Yeah.
where to find it, and it'll never happen again. My song's gonna play forever, baby.
I was actually like, I was sitting there with my phone. I watched the intro live while I could, and then I was like, I just want to make sure everything got started okay. And I see that the show just gets started, and then it's just like kicks in and just starts doing it. And I'm like, nah, this is way better. This is exactly what.
I mean, if there's an opportunity for me to rap, I'm about to rap, bro. Like that's what's up. That's just what it is.
Here's something funny. I have said before, I would never bring this topic up on the show, ever.
Oh,
but
boy.
of course, somebody humper chatted it in.
Yeesh.
And so they spent their money. This one's for Phil.
Winner. I don't know who those guys are. What are you talking about?
But here's the thing. I've said before, I don't necessarily care for beef or anything along those lines as far as like I don't have beef with nobody. So as far as the show is concerned, we don't got beef with nobody. I mean,
yeah.
Bold question, Cotton. We're not beefing with anybody.
Listen, man, this is a celebration, bro. Back to back wins. We don't talk about haters on our show. Sorry.
Yeah, nah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, yeah, nice one.
Look, here's the thing. Personally, I got nothing to squash because when I hear, like, of course, shit comes my way. I ain't
got nothing to squash either.
Yeah,
to be honest.
So what I was gonna say, pretty much everything comes my way. If something's been said and my name's in it, I've probably heard it.
Listen,
that said,
man.
I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like legit, I hear it and I'm like, all right. Like when I hear like especially accusatory stuff, I'm like, I don't have time to like sabotage nobody's shit or nothing along those lines. I don't give a fuck about literally any of that. So
listen, man. Yeah, I'm gonna, cause I'm in a good mood. Chicago's up. I'm gonna say this as nice as possible. I ain't got nothing to squash.
Let's go, baby.
If they would like to have a conversation, they always can. I've said that more than once. That's where I'm leading.
Look, only one podcast is getting name dropped by who people consider to be the greatest tag team in the fucking world. Only one podcast in the world is coming off the lips of one of the members you guys consider to be the best tag team in the fucking world, FTR. There's only one podcast.
Look, that threw me off, by the way.
Mentioned in that fucking media scrum.
I was so thrown by that.
Fucking boys.
I was very thrown by that. I asked my question.
No, I loved it because you're like, it's so cool that you know that.
Yeah.
No, I had no idea. I was like, okay.
Come on, man. I also saw his tweet where he was like, man, yeah, maybe we're the ones who. So I was like, I mean, hey, man.
I mean, that is a bar, though. Maybe.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of that momentarily here. I did want to read this this next one. This one is from Jennifer. It says, weekly appreciation for the gents. Hope your birthday was amazing, Phil, and that everyone else's week was superior. Keep supporting one another and keep taking care of your mental health, folks. It is so important.
It is. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
I think that's a typo.
It is so important. Jennifer letting us know for real. Like, yeah, no, for real, Jennifer. That's really dope. As always, thank you. We appreciate it. And yeah, constantly taking care. I've been taking care of my mental health a lot, after recent events. So everybody keep it up, man.
Yeah, man. Listen,
it's crazy out here.
A part of your mental health, though, because this was mentioned in this Humper chat, is just realizing sometimes you got to get along with everybody, man.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people might have an issue, and hey, maybe at some point a conversation will be had, but you don't have to entertain stuff that is negative energy. And that's where I'm at. Not entertaining that.
Yeah. I agree. As a matter of fact, not only am I a big believer that and I don't take this as shade. I don't want anybody to see it this way.
I'm here for all the shade.
But I will say
I'm here for all the shade, bro.
And I'm sure people will take it this way.
This Shady Records, baby.
But I will say that Grapsody's existence is taking care of my mental health, if that makes sense. Being here was taking care of my mental health. I guess make of that what you will. But I needed this show, and I enjoy doing this show, and I'm sure people can hear and see that these last 8 months, I have not been happier as a podcaster. So, yeah, I agree. Take care of your mental health.
We
Don't
love it,
feel
baby.
like you have to do anything, or don't feel like
you have to do anything or not do anything. Like it's
Right.
like you can. There's anything. Just fucking have at it, man. There's no set stone. There's no white American dream, like I like to call it. You don't have to go to school, go to college, have a family. You don't have to do any of that. You could do whatever you want. You can
I did
smoke
all
weed
of that,
every
by
day.
the way.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm very happy for you too. You have a home and shit. That shit's dope. You have good credit. You know, all the great things. But you can have the opposite of Will Washington. You could eat hot Cheetos and Mountain Dew all day and just know, it doesn't matter, because nothing in this fucking world matters. You look at the news and you should see that they want the world to burn. So you have to do your best and enjoy yourself in the chaos. Do what you need to do to be happy in this chaos. There's a lot of chaos.
do whatever.
And I'm not talking about the New Japan faction.
Yes. Do whatever makes you happy.
Mhm.
Hey, Dylan Dutch says, all due respect to Alan Angels, I've seen a lot of people tripping about him, quote unquote, being released for quote unquote WWE guys. Also, my Hornets are having the worst offseason imaginable, unless
Well,
Kemba
I don't
comes
know if
back,
they're having
much love.
I don't know if they're having a worse offseason than the Nets. But
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. No, you can't leave
The
the
Nets
out of this.
had the funniest 3 days imaginable.
Yo, what the fuck? And KD just knows when it's like, I know some destruction's about to happen. Let me do it. Like, what?
Nah, KD was watching from
All right.
before. Like,
I know, I recognize this is going to be very outdated very quickly, but curious for the three of us. Where does KD play by the start of the season? Where does Kyrie play start of the season?
Definitely.
I honestly think KD is gonna be back over here. I think we're gonna be neighbors. Honestly, I think he's doing everything, and he's like, I want to trade back to the fucking Warriors. So,
But he also wants to play for Phoenix. I can see that.
Why? Why go there?
I mean,
I don't think so.
Look,
I mean, he'd
here's
be
the
an
thing.
asset with that team.
We talk
Yeah.
like that, but Phoenix had a great season.
Phoenix was
and and then their offseason, their postseason blew up. Whereas
their postseason blew up because CP's not that guy.
He's
not that guy.
But but here's the thing: who is that guy?
Right. Devin Booker.
So what I am saying though is KD is that guy, right? I feel like
that's what I was gonna say. If KD was there with them this year, they might have had a better chance.
Maybe.
So yeah, I can kind of see all of that.
Nah,
But I hope he doesn't go to the Suns. That's ugly.
Listen, man. We watched all of this every time other people made super teams, and all LeBron guys were like, "All this for a 36-year-old? Oh, you guys can't beat Bron. All this for that light-skinned guy in Oakland? Y'all can't beat him? What's wrong?"
Let's go, baby. Bring the squad. Oh, the Warriors are on some shit too, man. Gary Payton Jr., I did not want to see him leave. I love the way he was balling out here, man.
I knew he was getting the bag. So
yeah. That's also it's kind of like, I don't want to say the Warriors are like a championship team is like NXT, because that sounds weird because you're winning the thing. But it's like, if you're hot, you're hot in NXT, they're gonna try to get you some money and go somewhere else to be a superstar over there. But it's not gonna work like that, because Steph Curry is not gonna be your teammate. I'm sorry.
Nah, Otto. You gotta hit some shots now, Otto.
Exactly right. But Kyrie, I could see Kyrie being in LA, and that'd be hella funny.
I could see Kyrie in LA. I can honestly see.
My God,
KD.
if he's playing with LeBron again after all of that, I would be
unbelievable.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen, right?
Right.
But I am still after.
I'm at Clippers. Not
Oh.
Lakers. I can see him in LA. playing for
Oh.
I was saying the Lakers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I did, like yesterday, what the headline was that the Lakers were doing everything they could to get Kyrie. But you know what?
They ain't got nothing to trade. Who you gonna trade?
No, here's
They
the
don't
thing.
got
They don't want Westbrook, bro.
The thing I find funniest about that is the fact that, like, on one end, LeBron fans, and I love LeBron, by the way. I'm not a LeBron hater like Phil. But LeBron fans are like, yeah, getting Kyrie and LeBron playing together again, different team, but playing together again, it's going to be a great combination. Okay, here's the thing. You guys did this like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When Dwayne Wade went to Cleveland, you were like,
Jesus.
look.
Oh,
hey,
you mean before he came here and wasted our time in Chicago? Bum.
It was like, hey, Dwayne Wade playing with LeBron again on the Cavs. Let's go. These guys won championships together. This is it. We're gonna see it. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade back together again. Didn't even finish the season.
Nah, because he was washed. I could have told you that watching those games. He was washed. I don't know if I've told you guys how much I despise Dwayne Wade. Like
I can hear it. I can definitely hear it.
I might hate Wade more than I hate LeBron. Like I despise him. Like when he got here, and this was like after we traded Derek, and like I was a big Rose guy. And I don't know if you guys remember, but he come out and he was the only guy on the team that they would say, and from Chicago. And so when Wade got here, and they were doing it, you know, Sears is playing, Alan Parsons, I'm vibing, and they got to Wade, and they were like, and from, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How dare you say, and from Chicago for
He's
anybody
from Chicago.
He is from Chicago, but he spent most of his career out in Miami. He beat us in the Eastern Conference Finals and then gloated. And now he's Mr. Chicago. Nah. He's from South Beach. Fuck out of here.
Damn. Wow. Damn. Sorry, Dwayne Wade. Sorry it had to be like that. But you did that to Phil. You did this to him.
Came here and robbed us of money and then quit on the team and left.
He robbed you of money.
Bum.
Man.
No, he knew he wasn't going to get that big contract in Miami, so he came here and got a big contract, and then didn't even finish out the contract here. Wouldn't play for Cleveland, and didn't finish that out either. Bum.
I didn't know there was D-Wade hatred. This is hilarious.
This is hilarious.
Can't stand him.
Hey, we got a few more upper chats. We got one from Van Twinblade. Says, I was at GCW Gateway to death last night. This happened before Tony Deppen versus Nick Wayne. Me, be nice to him. He's just a boy. Tony, I'm going to kick his ass. Then I'm going to fuck his mom.
Wow.
Yeah, that
I mean,
sounds
honestly,
like something Tony Deppen would say, totally.
I mean, I think some of the biggest heat you can use right now with Nick Wayne is his mom.
Yeah.
So...
yeah. And hey, speaking of GCW, really quick, the other night, one of my friends, something very disturbing happened at a GCW show. Hoodfoot Mo Atlas almost died, pretty much, in the ring. There was a spot. The match started. Slade broke a light tube in half, handed one to Hoodfoot. He took one. They were doing like a fighting thing, and Slade like legit sliced his arm right here. He had to have. They tried to continue the match, and there's like the ring is bloody. There's so much blood just everywhere. It's nasty. So they had to stop the match and be like, no, this is it. You're out of here. He went to the hospital. He got like 40 stitches, like some internal and some external. So like he was like, it was bad, but he's okay, as okay you could be after going something as traumatizing as that. He's going to be out of action for a while. So of course, like follow him on Twitter, buy some merch, support Hoodfoot. That was fucking scary. I was watching it live and I was like, just like panicking, trying to tweet and see what's going on and all this shit. But yeah, as this moment, he's all right. He was at another show last night. I don't know if you guys heard about this at this ICW No Holds Barred show.
Yep,
there was a wrestling show happening.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about that.
There was a wrestling show happening last night, really late. ICW No Holds Barred. They do death matches and shit like this. So at one point, somebody just tweets, "Oh, the show's over because there was a stabbing outside. They shut down the whole show." And we're like, "What?
Yep.
What's going on?"
Wow.
Yeah. So the show stopped. There was a domestic disturbance outside of the show. Someone got stabbed. Apparently, the staff of the no host bar show, or the wrestlers like help the person that got stabbed, like help them not die essentially. So shit's been crazy. Everybody fucking be careful out there. I don't know what is going
Be
on.
fucking
The
careful,
energy is
please.
crazy outside, so yikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, be careful, you guys.
Yeah, man. Well wishes to Hoodfoot, man. Chicago native. Book this man in more Chicago shows, by the way.
Yeah.
It's weird that he doesn't wrestle
He has to leave to get bookings. It's crazy.
Nah, man. Yeah, book him in Chicago.
So a couple more Humper chats. We have got which one did I just read? Okay, so we've got Anwar says, "How would you book Seth if he won Money in the Bank? Have a nice weekend."
Have at it, Philip.
Oh my God, the look on Phil's face.
So he should definitely win, and I would
Definitely.
Yes. Oh, he should win this. Who else in the men's Money in the Bank?
Drew McIntyre.
I think Riddle's winning it, but
You think Riddle's winning?
I mean, they threw the storyline at him that if he lost to Roman, he can't challenge again. So I feel like the way around that is him getting Money in the Bank.
Nobody wants that.
So, I mean, look, Riddle's
The
not
crowds
for me.
love Riddle, man.
Yeah, like I was
do
gonna say,
they?
Riddle's not for me, but yeah, they do. That
gets
dude
a
is
pop.
over.
Yeah,
He's
he
fucking
is.
over. Like
He's
I don't
over.
like Riddle. He's not for me. But I will say that
He's over.
You know, I recognize that he's
And that
really
Roman
over.
match helped even more. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, yeah.
Yeah, he's over, and I think he's gonna win it. I think this is their way around the story that he can't
I do not want him walking around with that briefcase making these corny weed jokes. No thanks. No thanks, buddy. Yeah.
But as far as booking Seth is concerned, what would you?
Yeah.
do?
I would have him hold it as long as possible, and I would make people, because I know the temptation to do is to redo the heist of the century at SummerSlam, and I wouldn't mind that because it would annoy people, and I'm all about stuff annoying people. It is part of the bit, but I would have him hold it as long as possible and like get to that final hour and make people think like, oh, what is he doing? And then just out of nowhere, he cashes it in. Because I feel like the best cash-ins have been when people held it for like 200, 300 days. Because I feel like that's what made the Ziggler cash-in so special. That was like he's finally cashing this thing in.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
They
it's
don't
weird.
like they don't like these long holding times anymore. So
This is
it's
kind of
gonna
a
be
hot
tough.
take. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Ziggler cash in. Like it was a moment at the time, but I think WrestleMania would have been better for that. And I say that because of the fact that like that world title match was a fucking dud.
It was.
The Alberto versus Jack Swagger match was a complete
Oh,
dud.
God, I was there.
And
Awful.
like and you could have done a lot to spice up that match. Like there was no reason to wait one more night for that. And on top of that, of course, you know, it was a cool moment, but the world title at that point couldn't have meant any less than it did. And like that, like if you weren't watching at the time, that was like the low point for the World Heavyweight Championship. And so to me, it was like, this is a cool moment, but you're kind of like cashing in on the Intercontinental title, and like it doesn't really matter.
Yikes.
and then the reign was a dud, right? Because like
the reign was a total
it's Dolph
dud.
Ziggler. What do you
yeah,
expect?
the reign was a complete dud. He cashed in.
People
and
that be
then-
trying to put over Dolph Ziggler are so funny. Like he's good, but like you don't want to see him.
Nah,
at this
you know
point.
what though? Talking about
It's like the Miz.
talking about Alan Angels for a sec.
Oh yeah, shout out
going
to
back-
Alan Angels. That's
going
the homie.
back to that the Humper chat we just got about Alan Angels, and that was from Dylan Dutch about people who are saying, you know, who are tripping about Alan Angels. I think that Alan Angels, you know, so the way the story went, of course, was that his contract was up and he was offered a per date deal and he turned it down from AEW, decided that he's going to bet on himself. And to that, I commend him, right? I had a tweet this week where I said that, and his dad commented on it. I love that.
Amazing.
But yeah, his dad was like, that's my son. He's going to He's gonna show the world, and I'm like, yeah, like I want to see more of that. Yeah. No, honestly though, like his Twitter handle is like Alan's dad something, and I'm like, this is great. This is the best. But no, so like with Alan Angels,
I mean, it makes sense when you find out he's like 23. You know?
Yeah, he's 24. 24, right?
years old.
Yeah, so he came in at 22. So like for Alan Angels, the way he put it was that right now, if he stuck around, he said, maybe I'll have some good matches here and there, but for the most part, I'm like bottom of the Dark Order guy. Yeah. Or I go out and he's like, I signed with AEW before I got my like indie career really under me, and that. What I observed from that is that was the right call in 2020, right? Because because there were no indie bookings at the time.
Structure.
There was a pandemic. It was you got to sign someplace to get some work, otherwise you're not going to work. And so for him, that was the best move at the time. Was look, he's fresh in this game, and he has a TV deal in front of him. Take it, right? But now he has an opportunity to be like, hey, I was the guy who had a TV match with Bryan Danielson and got the show out. I had two TV matches with Kenny Omega, got the show out. And now
like his match with Kenny Omega is one of the most talked about dark matches ever. You know what I mean?
Those were dark matches. Like this was Dynamite, right? That was
the one was on Dynamite. You're right.
Yeah, the two of them were on Dynamite. And so he gets to basically go out there and say, like, this is what I've done already now. So he gets to come back into the Indies, this time with a little more credibility, and you can see it when he's getting booked now. They're like, no, this is Alan Angels now.
Yeah, it's way different. Exactly.
Yeah, it's way different. And now he gets to kind of put, like, the reason I brought this up in response to Ziggler is because there was part of me that wished that Ziggler had done this. The boat passed a long time ago, but like in 2016, I was all about like,
honestly, he could still do it.
Well, when there was talk that Ziggler's contract was coming up in 2016, and they were doing the storyline with him and Miz, where it was like he's got to lose or he's got to win in order to stick around. It's lose or what was it? It was win or leave at the time, and I had this thought in my mind of, especially because Drew McIntyre was like on the brink of doing it, and Drew McIntyre did it, right? And I was like, how great would it be for somebody like Ziggler, who's already known as a world-renowned in-ring performer, but for the most part doesn't have a career outside of WWE that people are that people laud. And I thought, what if he like left for like 2 years, right? Went and did Japan, went and did all of the indies, did like a tour, did what Cody did, right? Like, what if Ziggler did that? I said he would be NXT champion within a year and a half, and of course he didn't win the NXT title this year. But
which forgettable, like
I know, right?
Completely forgot about it.
But I was like, what if he did leave and all of a sudden built this resume, went and worked Japan, went and worked a G1, went and did just all the shit that somebody could do with the athletic pedigree that Dolph Ziggler has, and then came back, and this time again like Cody, right? Like where Cody left, not really valued, but all of a sudden comes back, and it's like, oh, this is that Cody Rhodes now. And I thought that Ziggler could have been the guy to do that. And why I bring up Alan Angels is that Alan Angels kind of has that going for him with AEW, where like I think that I saw him face on Dark Elevation. He faced Andrade, had a great showing and a great match with Andrade, and I thought this is a guy who probably could have a good indie presence, and if he goes out and does that, and then reassesses his value in a year from now, and it could not work out, but let's say it does. Let's say it actually works out, and he does end up having.
It will. He's talented.
Career. Yeah, he's talented. Let's say he has a great indie career. That he's a hot commodity, and all the indies want to book him, and all of a sudden, the hardcore fans like really know who he is, to the point of where, then it is a case of the world is his oyster, I suppose, and he comes back with the contract, not a per appearance deal. That's what he wants. That's where you want to be. Yeah, build his value. I think
I've seen people overreacting, and I'm just like, look, that's what you're supposed to do. If you don't get the offer you want from somebody, you're supposed to go and prove it somewhere else and get your money. That's what you're supposed to do. Kylan King talked about the same thing in an interview with Sean, where she was like, no, I loved working there, but I wasn't getting what I wanted out of the situation anymore. So I was like, no, I'm going to go somewhere and make a name for myself. And it's working. She had that great match with Camille for NWA.
Yep.
No, that's what you're supposed to do.
And I think that happened constantly, right? There are a lot of guys who who didn't necessarily get what they wanted out of their first run, went elsewhere and made a name for themselves completely otherwise. It's happened before. We've seen it. And I think that I don't know. I think it's always the right call to bet on yourself. I think there's no reason you shouldn't. I think it's, if anything, a mistake to stick around in a place where you're not getting what you feel you could get, or if you feel like you could be more in the future, go for it. Well, always what I mean, say. Honestly, I commend Alan Angels for actually
that's kind of like the mission statement of AEW is betting on yourself. That's how the company got started.
It is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I'm excited for Alan Angels too, because he now becomes, I don't want to say a big fish in a small pond, but a bigger fish in a, in a bigger lake or something, over here. And being a part of AEW has already matured him. He's been doing some work in some places that I watched. Like I watched him in Action Wrestling do some work with AC Mack, and he was steps above where he used to be, just because he has all this experience now, just like you were saying with Bryan Danielson, with Kenny Omega, Andrade, like all these great wrestlers, and he can bring what he learned over there to the indies. So not only is he going to be, having great matches and, bettering himself, he's going to be helping out others with what he's learned in AEW. So this is a good move all around. He'll be back. You'll be seeing Alan Angels. This ain't the last time you'll see him in AEW. For sure.
Agreed. Let's see. A couple more. We got this one. This one is from Life of Deem. He says, "Happy Saturday, Grapsody fam. I'm hoping that the ending of Blood and Guts leads to an Eddie self-destructing and feuding with Claudio."
Yep.
Also, after his promo last night, I can't.
Self-destruction.
He says, "I can't wait for Danielson versus Gresham." I had a story on that, by the way, about Gresham that I don't know. I'm not going to put out there right now.
Gresham!
Because
that promo was fire, though, bro.
Yeah, it was fire. It was fire.
Oh,
but yeah, I had a story
God.
about things that happened on Wednesday that
I'm so excited.
That I gave to Select, and so I'm sure when Vegas happenings are over, you'll see it there.
It's coming. But yeah, you guys know I've been wanting Bryan Danielson versus Jonathan Gresham for, you can't even count how many years, how long. Everybody's been talking about this. Every interview that Jonathan Gresham has ever done, you can go back, anyone, they're going to ask about Bryan Danielson. Every single one. I did an interview with him and I was like, hey, what about Bryan Danielson? Like, it never fails. This is something that's been talked about for years and years and years. When Jonathan Gresham was killing it in Ring of Honor, everyone was saying, yo, Bryan Danielson, we need this match. Are we ever going to be able to get this match? Will it ever happen? Bryan Danielson leaves. He's in AEW. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it seems like Jonathan Gresham just shows up on AEW TV. They're just randomly like, oh, here's the world champion again. He's out here. Got me super excited. Then he cuts this promo last night being like, all right, I'm done with your guys' shit. I'm the fucking man around here. Everybody keeps talking about who's the best technical wrestler. Two guys, Claudio's talking about it. Bryan Danielson's talking about it. Zack Sabre Jr.'s talking about it. But I'm the dude out here, and I'm about to whoop some ass. Let's go.
Hey, man,
I'm so fucking excited for this, man.
I was going to say something about Zack Sabre, but I'm sure we'll get into it with Forbidden Door. So I'll say it.
And let's see. One Sweet Chris, which I'm hoping is a homage
One
to
Sweet Chris. Yeah, I get it.
Is to One Sweet Day, which of course up until Despacito was the longest rating number one hit for like 20 years.
Speaking of One Sweet Day,
we forgot to get into this. Yeah,
our friend of the show, one Andreas. And the homie Kels were talking
and shout
about
out to them
last night.
They're killing it. Bianca Belair and shit. It's lit out there.
Yeah, so they brought up Versus last night, and Kel was like, man, Janet versus Mariah. And I didn't give my opinion, but I saw them all saying Janet. I said, whoa, y'all picking Janet? Yeah,
it was like 100%
the homie might not like
across
this.
the board. Yeah, everybody was like Janet. Like, no way, Mariah has no dog in this fight. And we were just like, yo, Will Washington ain't gonna like none of this.
It's like, we're gonna see these tweets in the morning. Like, what y'all talking about?
So I hadn't seen this yet because I spent my night last night watching Stranger Things, which, by the way, look, love you, Stranger Things. One of my favorite shows of the modern era. But the whole point of Stranger Things was to take the concept of a movie and stretch it out over a season of a TV show, right? But that doesn't work now when you have 2.5-hour episodes, because at that point you made a fucking movie. So
I mean,
that's a movie.
So like I didn't even get to finish because I'm like feeling exhausted and feeling tired, and I'm like, how much time is left in this episode? And it says an hour and a half, and I'm like, okay, I
Yeesh.
can't.
How long is a regular episode?
The regular episodes are like an hour, but these last 2 episodes are like 2 hours and 2.5 hours.
What?
And so I know, right? Like you made movies here, which like the whole point of Stranger Things was, it's like, oh, here's like an 80s type movie, but we stretched it out over a season. But you didn't. Yeah. But like this last season now, I think we're making movies now each week, and it's too much. But great show. But anyway, so I missed all of that.
Never seen it.
Look, here's the thing. Number 1 hits belongs to one person.
I told you.
And
I
one
told
person
them
alone.
you were going to cut a promo.
One person has that title. Now, that said, 20 number 1s belong to the Beatles, right? But right below, 19 number 1s with Mariah Carey.
That's a lot.
No
of
one
number
else.
ones. Wait, how many does Drake have?
How many number 1s does Drake have? Let me see.
I'm pretty sure I just saw
I think
the thing about it.
I think Jay is up there as well. I think Hove has like.
I know he's got number 1 albums.
But
as far as number 1 singles, and that's the thing about Versus is it's not album for album, it's song for song,
right?
And so that's where
I don't know, man. Sometimes the song for song don't work out either.
I'm saying, yeah, because they be having some you forgot about, and you be like, oh damn, I forgot about this one. That's a tough ass matchup, honestly.
Sometimes somebody come out there and sing your boots off, and you lose. Man.
Yeah, for real. We saw Ray J. Ray J then blamed everything. He's like, yo, the floor was crazy. I had
floor was crazy.
My son was in my hand. My hat was in my eyes. Bro came through with everything.
Yo, Ray J eating that cup of noodles at the BET Awards. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
All right, here we go. So
wildin',
the way
bro.
the list reads, and I'm sure most people know this list, but it is the Beatles with the most number 1 hits. They have 20. And then at number 2, it is Mariah Carey with 19. And then number 3 is Elvis with 18. Number 4 is Rihanna with 14.
Okay, let's go, Riri.
5 is Michael Jackson with 13.
Damn.
And then 6 is a tie between the Supremes and Madonna, which then we move on to 8 is Whitney Houston with 11. And then
so Drake's not even in the top 10. He must
9
have
and
been
10 is Janet Jackson tied with Stevie Wonder. So like, and they both have 10 number 1 hits.
So you saying number 2 to number 9? That's all you saying. You're like, these are the stats right here.
These are the stats. Like Mariah Carey has 19 number 1 hits. Like it's not even close. No, like the one right behind her is Elvis with 18. He ain't making no more hits. And then right before
Wow.
And then behind her is Rihanna with 14. So like Rihanna stands a chance if she can come up with, I guess, 5 more number 1 hits in her
Rihanna's
career.
chilling, man. She making.
Rihanna's like, yeah, I ain't got time for that.
But the amount of people who talk about wanting the Rihanna comeback, like I feel like she could come up with 5 number 1 hits. Like
no, she's gonna make another album.
Like she is about the closest to pulling off 5 more number 1 hits. But otherwise, 19, baby, like.
And Rihanna just might not do it because she doesn't want to, not because she can't, just because.
Right. I think Rihanna absolutely could.
Yeah.
So
you're saying Mariah's taking this? Nobody's taking Mariah in this, is what you're saying?
I mean, it depends on the audience, of course, because like
the audience. I think if it's a Mary J and an audience could get her out of here. I think.
Right. I think we're talking about audience. We're also talking about performance a little bit, and like I've always said, and look, biggest Mariah Carey fan on the planet. MC isn't the greatest performer. And
she has antics though. That's what we love about it.
I think she is an amazing personality. And when I say that, I don't mean like charitably. I just mean she's fucking hilarious.
She's the best. There's one clip where she's like super drunk behind a DJ, and she's like, "I'm just trying to give it all that I got," and she's like, "So drunk." I love that. Like, I watched that 5 million times.
Mariah's fucking hilarious. But then also she was
at the BET Awards too.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she got honored with Lotto. But then also she got she just got inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Songwriter, singer, all of that stuff. Greatest voice, history of mankind. That said, stage presence, I don't think Mariah's ever been that great on stage. She's not a dancer. She's basically got this little shoulder shimmy. That's it. And
for what she be doing, it's hard to dance when you gotta like have posture and shit and get your throat at a certain angle and shit.
Yes.
Like she's not one of the dancers.
But if you've seen that Fly Like a Bird performance, she also look, I could talk Mariah Carey all day. I do my own podcast about Mariah Carey. I have done one podcast about Mariah Carey. Me and Denise Salcedo last Christmas did top 10 Mariah Carey songs back to back, and it was great. But
MC.
and you just watch that.
So
I gave fantasy number 1, by the way.
All of them picked Janet though. I was looking from afar, like,
One Sweet Chris, though, said, first time in a minute catching the boys live. Good to have Will back on the show. Also, hope Phil had a great birthday. One Sweet Chris also followed up by saying that One Sweet Chris is actually an homage to when the Bucks and the rest of the Elite got the cease and desist from WWE for the Too Sweet.
Yeah. Bucks are legends, bro.
Greatest
Very
of
glad
all
the gold is
time,
back
baby.
around their waist, man.
Let's
Look,
go.
FDR is FDR. They're those guys. They're probably the tag team of the year right now. But listen,
I don't know, man. I'm about to be fighting with my editor Kevin about this.
Goats is in the building, buddy. Goats is in the building.
This top 150 tag teams list we have. It's about to be a fight for real. Is this going to be a harder fight?
Are you going to fight with the guys that are
500?
holding 3 titles right now, bro?
Yeah.
Yo, the Bucks. Every one of their matches are bangers. Number 1. Come on.
I mean, and if it's year to year, I don't know.
If it's year to year,
let's
I
see.
think this is FDR's year.
Chris says, was at Forbidden Door. Awesome show. In spite of the curse, I now believe in Zack Sabre Jr. The pop for Claudio was fire, and someone stop Sting. He's a madman.
Sting is a grandpa, ain't he?
Dude,
Sting,
honestly,
wow.
that fucking Newsweek headline that I keep pulling that back up every time Sting does some crazy shit. That headline that said, Sting signs with All Elite Wrestling, but don't expect him to do much physical.
Bro flew off that thing, man. He
Look,
flew.
man, Sting. I said this on Twitter. Sting, my favorite wrestler. When I was a kid, there was nobody better than me than Sting. I loved Surfer Sting. I was all about that was the reason I was a WCW kid. I think had they not had Sting, I wouldn't have been as into WCW as I was. But Sting
I agree.
was
I think
my
they
guy.
agree.
I feel like Sting was like Warrior with great matches. It's so
Yes.
That was
1,000,000%.
like when people when all the other kids
Warrior
were like,
with
I
great
love
matches is funny.
like when all the other kids were like, I love Ultimate Warrior. I'm like, nah, man, Sting. Like Sting also has face paint, but he's way cooler. And
Sting was cooler.
Hey, I'm going to say this, by the way. AEW folks that were like, oh, man, that's so cool. He teleported from over there to there. Look, I don't want to hear y'all say y'all don't want no more spooky stuff, bro. I don't want to hear
I mean,
Did some
look,
Judgment Day shit? Okay, I see it.
hold up. Because
wanna hear y'all
even
say y'all
if-
want
Are
If
people really saying that though? Because that's hilarious.
No,
'Cause
for
look-
real. People are like, they don't want Bray because they don't want him doing the spooky stuff.
I don't say that. I say that, but also I'm not under the impression that. Look, I don't mind spooky stuff when at least you can say like, oh, they're just playing mind games, right? Like logically, you could say, even in the context of the show, that Sting had somebody playing Sting up there, and he's just playing mind games.
Fake
with people.
Sting. There is
that
a fake
shit is
Sting.
that shit is fine. But when it's like there is literally no logical explanation here. It's literally just, we're just bullshitting on television. That's when you lose me. That's when
Nah,
I'm
man,
like,
look,
no, you
man.
can't do all that.
Nah, man.
Like Matt Hardy teleporting, no explanation for that. Shit sucks.
Come on,
but
it's
at least if you
broken.
can like find a way to explain it within the context of the show, I'm good with it.
Nah, man, it's
like
just
I didn't even
magic. You
mind
don't need
Bray
to
Wyatt
explain
when Bray Wyatt was like mind gamey shit, right? Where like even lights out stuff, I could say like logically in the context of the show, Undertaker handed the lights guy like $50 to be like, hey, just fuck with the lights for this guy or for this appearance, right? But like then lightning strikes, that I can't believe. So like you start playing with it a little too much. And that's where I'm at when it comes to
I seen him
spooky
change
shit.
his name to Wyndham Six, man. And I was like, Alan leave him? Nah, man, you ain't heard. We push the 6 when the 5s is out. Come on, bro.
No, I'm personally good without Bray, but that's me. Van Twinblade says, no beef here. only chicken. We keep weight. Going back to the beefs from earlier.
No. We're not punching the chicken chest up in there, bro.
Jonathan was happy B-Day. Phil, did you catch Against All Odds? I was in Center Stage Atlanta, and the energy was great.
They were in ATL too. Now we were talking about before we came on the pod how it was. We all thought it was weird that they were doing a show on Friday. There was so much wrestling going on last night that it was hard to catch it. Honestly, I caught a little bit of it, but not enough of it, just because honestly I thought it was today, and I guess they wouldn't do it today because the WWE show. Yeah, so okay, that makes sense. It all makes sense now. I've caught up. I'm gonna watch it though.
Yeah, I haven't watched Against All Odds yet, but I'm going to watch it.
I watched Trey Miguel and Speedball Mike Bailey, and it was insane as expected.
Well, the thing I noticed was that talking about crowd in Atlanta, and I feel like I'm breaking up now, but the
how do you feel like you're breaking up? Like I can feel the internet not working.
Right here. Like,
yeah, I can feel my
is going crazy.
I can watch you guys' facial reactions. Is what I noticed.
Is he there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he's there.
So is it good now?
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so I feel like I was looking at the turnout, and this was one of the better crowds. I think they drew like 500 people for the show.
Nice.
I feel like this was one of those instances where I would have called an audible if I were Impact and shot the show from a different angle. Like it was still shot. They shot the stage.
Hey, it did. That's why when he said that, it was in Atlanta, I was like, oh yeah, they've been saying all week, whenever they've been pushing this show for a long time, saying that it's in Atlanta at Center Stage, and they didn't make it look like Center Stage. Like, what's the point of saying you're going to be at a place if you're not going to give me those vibes of fucking WCW Saturday Night? They just shot the thing like it's like they have one studio and they just do, and that's just not visually appealing for a lot of fans, I think.
Yeah. Jake says, well, Reg, they are the greatest of all time, just not just best in the world.
I think Jake was talking about FTR, but that's reserved for the Young Bucks, Jake. That's
Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time.
See.
Come on.
Sorry, Cash.
Brett,
that's the homie. We love you, Cash.
Brett says it was again so awesome meeting and talking to Will and Phil along with Denise at Forbidden Door. What a show that was. What was your favorite match and or moment? Love what you guys do and much more. Yeah, we talked to Brett in line.
Thanks, Brett.
At Forbidden Door. It was a great time. Yeah, like pretty much I spent the whole weekend with Denise and then met up with Phil on Sunday, and we got to go to Warrior Wrestling, and that was fun.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Warrior Wrestling. How was the show?
You go ahead.
Yeah, Warrior Wrestling was fun, man. I did think it was funny that we just sat on this podcast and talked about Drake and how I don't like Way Too Sexy, but hearing Way Too Sexy out, like that's the thing with
Gringo
Drake.
Loco's theme, huh?
Yeah, Drake always tricks you because he's like, I don't really care for this, and then you hear it out and it's like, nah, this works.
I was saying to Phil, I'm like, no, man, this is like if anybody in like mainstream wrestling pick this up as a theme song, it's over. Like that shit gets so lit in an arena. Like, and look, we're just in the building at Malcolm X College, but just hearing it and hearing the few hundred people in that building that were getting hyped to it, and I just thought, I turned to Phil and I'm like, look, if somebody played this in an arena, it'd be fucking lit. Like, are you kidding me? I feel like right now the thing with picking up mainstream songs is to songs cheaper because going current music is probably really expensive.
Definitely.
If somebody like actually spent the money on that,
ain't nobody got no Drake money.
Nah, no. And it was a good show, man. I thought that match with Gringo Loco and it was dope. Lucha things everywhere. Just hearing that this took place in Malcolm X College is just hilarious to me.
That is super funny.
It's Chicago. It's Malcolm X College, and it's like literally like right there from United Center. It's like right across the street, basically. It's just, crazy. I mean, just me thinking about that day and leaving Malcolm X College, and then like the homie said in the chat, we were talking to people in the crowd. I'm like, yo, this is home. Like, I'm at home. Like, I'm still looking around like, this is home. I'm walking around an arena like, this is home. But again, that's why I'm like, back to back, baby. Let the confetti rain, buddy. Come on.
That's
All
dope.
right, let's talk about Chicago because
Chi-town.
Chicago was a weekend, and I did have a lot of fun. So I told
You
a
get
little
pizza, Will?
bit of no food wise. All right, let's talk about food. We got a lot of stories to tell. So, the first thing is, so I got in like, so
You know, Will don't take no regular flights.
one of the things is, it was mostly a regular flight, but by the time I got
mostly.
I ended up last minute deciding to get a rental car because I started looking at rental car prices and they were like $40, and I'm like, yeah, sure, because I originally thought I was flying into.
got that.
So I originally thought I was flying into Midway. In Midway, the rental car prices were like $90, and I'm like, nah, I'm not spending that. But then I was like, when I got to my gate and it said flying into O'Hare, and I was like, oh, O'Hare, huh? I'm gonna spend $40 just on Uber to get from O'Hare to my Airbnb. Let me just look at some rental car prices. And so I started looking at them, and they were $40 for the rental car, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting a rental car because there's no way I can just keep spending that on Ubers. That's going to rack up really quick. But the one thing Denise Salcedo didn't tell me is that the Airbnb ain't have no parking. And so I spent half an hour trying to find, once I got to it, trying to find parking. I'm like stalking people. I'm like, is this person walking to a car? They walk into a car. They're walking to a car. I'm taking the spot. And they like walk past and just go into their house. I'm like, fuck, man. And like... As soon as I found like the slightest gap, I'm like, I can parallel park in this spot. I don't get like I'm gonna be half an inch away from the car in front of me, but I found a spot and I was good. But that took me half a fucking hour to find a spot. And so look,
Right, see, you listening to an LA person tell you about how to come downtown to Chicago.
Yeah.
I would have told you, and I would have told you there's nowhere to park on the north side or downtown Chicago. Nobody drives down there other than people that live down there.
Right, damn it, California. You can't listen to nobody that drives in California about traffic or parking or anything, because we are the absolute worst. Like what you were just describing, like that happens sometimes in the Bay Area. Just like you might have to wait for 30 minutes to get a spot. So yeah.
And that's what I did. So like JJ, shout out JJ, had invited us out to go do something, but I'm like, nah, I just found a parking spot and I don't know how long it's gonna take. Like I'd originally told him yes. I texted him.
They forgot that Will was a dad. That's a dad thing to be like, I found my parking spot and I'm staying till the morning, till it's time to go
so he
else.
texted me. He was like, hey, we got a table at this place. You want to come? And I was like, yeah, let me just drop off at the Airbnb and I'll be right there. And then after it took half an hour to find a spot, I was like, nope, I'm staying in for the night. I was like mad. I was like, I don't want to.
Because you're a dad. That's a dad thing.
I was like, I'm not going back.
Wasted
out.
30 minutes. I parallel parked. I'm not getting out of here. No, this is my spot.
Because you were at O'Hare, you could have easily just took the blue line from O'Hare to the Airbnb because it's close enough.
Oh no, none of y'all's public transportation.
This is why you could ask me. Why you need to ask me? I'm the guy that lives here.
I know, right?
So,
but
that night was funny
but
too.
Think about everybody who needed a ride, and I was like, hey. Hop in, right? So
we'll be giving rides too. Who like, you need to go to another city? I got you, bro. Hop in.
Look, because I get a rental car most places I go, and I don't drink, right? So like for everybody else, hop in a car with me. You know, I will get you where you're going safely, and we'll have fun wrestling conversations on the way.
Yeah.
So it
might get played a theme song that's gonna come out and nobody's supposed to hear it.
No, so it was we have good times, and but
I'm so sad I wasn't there, man. It sounds like a great time already, man.
Yeah, no, Warrior Wrestling was fun. We had just a hoot at Warrior Wrestling, and I got to see Val Capone, and I hadn't seen her in a while. We high-fived at Double or Nothing. That was about it. She walked by. I was like, hey, Val. But I was like already in my seat. So
and your crew was doing like a split show with Warrior Wrestling too, right?
Yeah, over Women's Wrestling Army. So that was another thing I got to see. I mean, I see Maria everywhere. Pretty much every show I go. Every city I get to, I'm like, all right, let me make sure I make some time to see my dear friend Maria Kanellis. We've been friends for 12 years now, which is weird that I can say that. Because I just look up and I'm like, that's fucking 12 years ago. Yeah, we became friends like right after she got released, and now all of a sudden this is like one of my longtime friends. Go figure. But yeah, I got to see Maria and got in a little bit of trouble with Bobby Cruz because I've been working with Bobby Cruz with
Ring
Women's
of Honor,
Wrestling.
baby.
Well, that was the thing, was I've been working with Bobby Cruz for Women's Wrestling Army for the last couple of months, but I've never actually met Bobby Cruz in person. And I still didn't this weekend.
Oh, shit.
And so he was like, "How did you miss me again?" And he was like, and we were in the same building twice. Because I didn't see him at Forbidden Door either. And I was like shouting at him. I'm like, Bobby, because I was front row at Forbidden Door, and he's in the ring announcing matches. And like as he's walking over, I'm trying to say what's up to Bobby finally. But I have still yet.
And he's
to
like,
meet Bobby.
"I'm working, dude. I can't hear you. I'm the ring announcer. Will leave me alone."
He came at me afterward and was like, So we're just not gonna say what's up. Like what's going on? But like I've talked to Bobby plenty over. Like we've had plenty of face to faces over the webcam like this. But as far as meeting,
Shout
in
out
person,
to
I've
Bobby
never
Cruz.
actually
Did he
met
talk
Bobby
like
Cruz in
that?
person.
This is Bobby Cruz. Hello, Will Washington.
No,
Nice
Bobby
to
Cruz
see
got
you today.
Bobby Cruz has like the deepest.
Why do you sound like Finkel?
That was my Bobby Cruz impression.
Bobby Cruz has like the deepest Boston accent like of anybody I've ever met. It's so deep. It's Boston with Bobby Cruz over there.
Boston. Shout out.
I love Bobby Cruz. I absolutely love Bobby.
Look, man. Women's Wrestling Army will be back here in Chicago, by the way.
Next
baby.
weekend.
Next weekend.
Next
on
weekend.
the 8th and the 9th.
Yeah. Some great stuff happening.
Hey, want to shout out Warrior Wrestling? Great show, but y'all bringing Tesla back? I don't know if we need the Tesla.
She's pulling up at Warrior.
That's the announcement.
Ooh.
She's doing the Stadium Series. They do have a really good dream match that I'm excited for. Kylie Ray versus Athena is coming up soon.
That's gonna bang. That's gonna be dope.
But yeah, they've got Tesla coming up soon.
Nuclear heat.
Funny story. One of the last Warrior Wrestling shows I went to, I actually interviewed Big Swole at this show, like right before the pandemic, and she wrestled Tessa that night. So another funny night. They had that big. It was a women's war of attrition match, and it was Tessa and I think Britt Baker was also in that match, which is also interesting. It's a very interesting night.
Okay, do you guys think that Tessa's gonna be able to weave her way back into this?
Into wrestling in general?
Into a spot.
Yes, because wrestling...
Because wrestling's whack. That's what I'm thinking, that she's going to be able to get back in, because like
wrestling will always find a way to bring problematic people back in, and the problem with problematic people in wrestling is a lot of problematic people are really good wrestlers. So I don't know, man.
A lot, yeah. Like when you look up the list of problematic wrestlers, you're like, well, all these people they could work. What is the thing about? Like, it's never like a problematic wrestler that's awful. It's like, oh, this guy sucks and nobody cares. It's like,
Gunner's kind of whack, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, when a problematic wrestler is whack, there's nothing better to me. When it's like when you contrast them for the wrestling, and you're like, and this guy like sucks, and like as a person, this is.
I think my thing is with Tessa is there's not for people need like hard evidence, and there's not like something they could hear or
there's
see.
Not hard evidence.
I mean, there is. I'm saying for other people. For me, the evidence is hard as fuck. But for
first person account is pretty hard.
People don't care about first person accounts though.
Especially if it comes from a black woman.
Exactly. If there's not hard evidence, I didn't hear it or see it myself. It's folklore. I don't know. It could be anything. So that's why I think like there's always going to be a moment where she could just come back because fans don't care. And it's like the issues like whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't nowhere to be seen in that Wild Take trailer though. I didn't see her nowhere in that trailer. Mm-hmm. Jenny. Nah, she was like, nah, I think we're out of here. I think the buses are pulling out our support.
We got to focus on trying to get Kyrie over here. We can't be having too many other problems.
Yo, if Kyrie goes to the Clippers, that's going to be really funny, man.
Kyrie might end up with an LA address. I could see it. Yeah.
Yep.
Shottown.
So what else?
You didn't get pizza. I'm disappointed.
No, so it was what we were going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Phil's gonna give us shit, but look. So I got in when I place, and I didn't. I don't know how I got grouped in with this Philip, but Denise had ordered Taco Bell. And Phil was like, "How you gonna?"
Because Phil had just told us that he's never eaten Taco Bell, like in a podcast recently on here. I remember that.
Yeah. And so Phil was like, "How you gonna come to Chicago and eat Taco Bell?" And you tagged me in that too. I didn't eat Taco Bell. I ate Wendy's.
No, y'all were trying to go to Taco Bell that night, though. Y'all were like, "No, let's go to Taco Bell." And I was like,
"Yo,
what are y'all doing?"
Listen, Denise is from California. We do that. It's late night. We know it's open. Like we don't have to go to Yelp. We don't have to look around for the city. Nothing. I know I can pull up to Taco Bell and eat some tacos right the fuck now.
Yeah, and so that was the thing with Phil. Was so after Forbidden Door, we're like, look, we're just hungry. We just need to find something. And yeah, we were like, look, it's like 2:00 in the morning because Media Scrum didn't get out till like 1. And so we're like, look, it's like 2:00 in the morning. Let's just find something to eat. And so yeah, we're like, let's just find a Taco Bell. Phil's like, no, we're not eating Taco Bell. And
no, I was rolling at first. I was like, y'all can get that.
and like Red said, it's the one thing we know would be open.
It's open. Late. I know it's open.
but here's the thing: it wasn't. We got there, and it was like they closed at 1, even though Google said 2. And so it was like 1:48. So we're like, we'll make it. We could walk in and grab a couple of Taco Supremes or some bullshit, and or Crunch Wrap or something, and we'll be good. And Philip is just over here just laughing, and he's like, we're not getting Taco Bell. But you know what, though? We found a dope Mexican joint that was open 24/7.
Yeah. And also being from California, that's also the thing that kind of throws me off. Like, you could find a taqueria also if you look.
Yeah. And
but in Chicago, I wouldn't expect that, honestly.
I wouldn't have expected it either.
I'm not trying to get Mexican food in Taco.
Again, if you would have asked me, I would have told you there's always going to be some Mexican place somewhere in the city open at that time of the night.
Look, okay, here's the thing. I am originally from California, specifically Southern California.
Cali.
Specifically, all I knew was Mexicans and Mexican food all around.
Yep.
Now I'm in Colorado, which is still 2 states away from Mexico, right? Like literally north of New Mexico. So pretty much you just went just a little bit more north. We got a lot of Mexican here, right? But Chicago always throws me off because, again,
it's over there,
right? It's same with Michigan, right? Where people are like, yeah, we're getting some Mexican, and I'm in Detroit, and I'm like, man, y'all are so far from Mexico. I don't trust the Mexican as far.
Who's making it?
Right.
Nah, man, you got my city fucked up, bro.
Yeah, I obviously do.
You come on. There's a huge Mexican population here. Like,
I
you
know
not
that.
remember like how loud the city got for Lucha Bros because like there's a huge Mexican population.
Yes,
hey, shout out to my Latino homies. Yeah,
I know that now, and yeah, so we found a Mexican joint that was open at 2:00 in the morning.
That's honestly like I've thought about leaving California. Rarely, a couple times, and on the list is like, are they gonna have good Mexican food? Like, you can't just go anywhere and be eating Mexican food. California got it everywhere. I can go to any spot and find some. You can't just be leaving. That's part of the reason that I'm just like, California forever, baby. I need me a burrito that's made by a Mexican, not a white person.
But no, you can go there are several great hole in the wall Mexican places here.
And that's what this was. Like, literally, we had to like cross over this like ditch made of gravel to even get to it.
Love it.
And it was great. The food was great. Definitely hit the spot at 2:00 in the morning. It was the right call. So
it had the Chicago ambiance. There were
this fucking late night scrum shit is crazy though. Getting out of a place at 2 a.m. after you've already done like 8 hours worth of sitting and working and all kind of shit is crazy. Man.
So how this happened of me tagging them though is because I actually went out and got tacos on my birthday, and I was like, no, let me show you how we do this here. We don't Taco Bell.
Show you how to do that there.
So then Cap came through, friend of the show, Captain Sean Dean, and was like, yo, y'all really came here and ate Taco Bell? And I was like, yo, I told them.
Captain flamed y'all too? Damn, y'all had the captain on y'all. Damn. I'm not mad, Will. I would have tried to do the same thing, man. Taco
Like 2
Bell, I'm
o'clock in the
telling you,
morning.
always.
2 o'clock in the morning after a media scrum, I'm like, I just want food that I know is open.
It's hot. Yeah, give me some hot food. I'm gonna eat it. I don't care where it's from.
Yeah. Okay. So I had also one of the cutest stories. I told a little bit of this, but I said I was going to tell the rest of it on Grapsody this week. So, if you watch Day After Dynamite, you may have heard this story already, but I haven't told these two yet. So, at Forbidden Door, I'm sitting next to the security guard who worked for United Center, and it was an older black man who had no idea what he was at. And so he's asking me all these questions, and they were just best. I had so much fun sitting next to this guy. So first thing he says is, he's like, "Why do they keep saying Japan? What's the Japan thing all about?" And like so, but like he like kind of tugs me. That was the first thing he asked. He's like, "Excuse me, young brother, I need to ask you, what's all the Japan?" He's like, "What's all the Japan stuff about?" And so I explained to him what the show was, right? And he goes, "Okay, how many of these have there been?" And I was like, "Sir, you're at the one." And he's like,
This is the first ever, man.
he's like, "Wait, what do you mean the one?" He's like, "This ain't like a tour or something?" I was like, because he's probably used to like working concerts where people like go around playing the hits. Tours, and I'm like, not one event. This is one. And he's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "How many people are going to be here?" Because we got in early. We bypassed the line. And he's like, "How many people are going to be here?" And I said, "Oh, this place is like going to be sold out. It's going to be full." And he's like, "Oh." Ooh, oh, okay. So of course, so he's got to face the crowd. He can't face the ring. And so he's got his back to the ring the whole time. And so he's like pulling up his phone and like got his selfie camera, like trying to look over his shoulder to see what he's missing. Crowd's going nuts, seeing people screaming, and he's just like, "What am I missing here?"
Like, what is this?
And like I had to prepare for Moxley's entrance because I'm like, okay, so because he's like, "Why is everybody standing up? What's going on here?" And I said, so like one of the most popular dudes, he's gonna come right through this area where you because he saw that the AEW security came and like unlocked the gate so that Mox. And he's like, "What's about to happen?" I'm like, so really positive about to make his way through the crowd, and like he's like one of the stars, and he's like, "Oh, I should get a picture with him." He's like trying to like maneuver to get a picture when he gets over his shoulder.
You about to get this old man fired. He was doing all kind of shit. He's supposed to be surveying the crowd only, Grandpa.
Nah, he was actually the two dudes who got kicked out. The two out. That's how I that.
All right, you're cutting out again a lot, Will. I don't know what's going on. They're running Xbox Live upstairs or something. I don't know.
They're running Xbox Live upstairs. It's funny.
The homie was like, he left. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I'm back.
There he is.
I'm like annoyed. So I would say like, so when the pop happened for Okada, he was like, who is this? Who is this guy? And I'm like, I was like, he's like biggest star in Japan. And he's like, "Oh, okay, like The Rock?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like The Rock."
Yeah, like The Rock.
I was like, "Yeah, like The Rock."
Like The Rock.
Like Rocky Johnson, who's out here in these streets. Like him.
Yeah. It's funny. Ronan Mike Clips in the chat says, "Hardwire your PC." Shit is hardwired. I don't know what's been going on with my internet the last couple of nights. Ethernet cable right here. You look at my bottom right connection. It's literally hardwired. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Hardwired and hard body, baby.
Xfinity did some like maintenance in my neighborhood like a week ago, and it's been awful since.
It's bad.
And so I don't know what's been going on, but
I saw, speaking of you being down there, I saw they tried to put you on that Summer Jam screen with the little Judas. As soon as Judas hit, there's like, "Where's Washington at? Find him. Let's see him." Put the camera right in his grill. They tried to put you on the Summer Jam screen, but you did not falter, Will Washington. I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you sticking to the guns. And
You know what's funny
You are
about
not
when
catching me singing Judas.
you know what's funny about when I saw that though, and I so when I talked to you later when I saw you again and you were talking about it, I was looking at the tweets. I was like, hey, guess where I was when Judas was playing? out in the lobby getting food.
That's your thing. You've done this before.
No, it came up and I'm like,
They tried to put my boy on the Summer Jam screen. Tried to get him. National pay-per-view.
I don't.
Nah.
I'll say this though. Because remember that argument last year about entrances and Ham had started that argument over whether or not Judas as an entrance is more over than Shinsuke's entrance, and he was like, "Nah, Shinsuke's the most over entrance of all time." Disagree. I've been in a lot of crowds.
Hard disagree.
Judas is without question the most over entrance theme song I think in the history of theme songs. I think the fact that there's
History.
no like
Whoa, history.
look, the fact that there are no essentially like repeating lyrics in the song, but fans can sing the whole fucking thing, like that. Name another place that's happened before where fans will sing every lyric of the song and you have a whole arena doing it. That hasn't happened before. And
I mean, I do agree it's more over than the Shinsuke theme, but in history, I don't think it's more over than the Austin theme. I think
I don't think it's like if
there's
Austin,
no lyrics to that. Like that's the thing.
if Austin had lyrics, they'd be singing those
It didn't need
shits.
it. The glass pot. The
He
glass
had
breaking
lyrics at
everything.
one point, and people wasn't going.
The lyrics were trash
just
too.
the lyrics with nothing
They
to kill,
would,
and you
though,
don't
if they
believe it, but
played
I'm betting that he will. Like people weren't doing
The
that.
lyrics
in
were
the
Song
song.
played, if they
trash.
listened to that song for 3 years straight, they would.
No, they
Give
wouldn't.
them the same thing as
Well, see,
Jericho.
I don't think people need to sing the Austin theme for it to be over. I feel like
Right.
the Austin theme is the Austin theme. It's one of the
Yeah.
most recognizable wrestling themes ever.
Sure,
Or
I
even
just
like
mean
Real
as
American,
a song.
you know, I don't know.
I just mean, but again, crowds wasn't going when it comes crashing down. Like people were doing that. No Chance in Hell, I think, is about.
Listen, if I'm in an arena and they start singing "I'm a Real American," I'm leaving. I am going home, bro.
At this point, seriously, if it's in the first match, like, all right, nice knowing you. I'm out of here, bro. I'm not sticking around for this.
Like No Chance in Hell, I think is probably up there. I would think No Chance in Hell is up there as like one of the most over theme songs like ever in terms of like people sing that shit. Look, I don't like Jericho and I don't like Vince, but like I recognize when things are over and like people will sing No Chance in Hell. People do that shit. When I
Yeah, of
say
course.
over. When I say over theme song, what I mean is like people have the willingness to go learn the lyrics and then be singing that shit on camera.
People be
with
listening to
all
that
their
shit,
heart.
not at the stadium.
Yeah.
Man.
And like, of course, Austin is like one of the most over wrestlers ever. Like, and the glass shattering is an over thing. But I just mean as a song that people are obviously listening to outside of the show in order to learn the lyrics. It's Jericho. Like, I don't think it's close. Jake Salazar says, just make sure Reg doesn't get my money with that blasphemy. Talking about the Bucks again.
The Bucks are the greatest of all time, bro. We wouldn't
are.
we wouldn't be talking about this show without the fucking Young Bucks. We're AEW shills,
man.
and they created
super
the
kick.
fucking show.
Hey, Kennedy Moore, this is a great shout. He says, hey guys, first time super chat. Got to go to my first ever wrestling show last Wednesday
shit.
for Blood and
Nice.
Guts, Dark Elevation, and Rampage. Best
Hot.
night of my life.
Woo-hoo, what a night to go, right? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Great show.
Hell of a lineup.
Yeah, I got a text
Thanks.
from my wife's cousin who was like, hey, don't you got the hookup on tickets? It
Don't
was
you
in
got the
Detroit.
hook up on?
I was like, hey, I'm trying to go. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
either way, my wife's cousin ended up going. But and they had a great time too.
Awesome.
So that was cool.
Detroit. Oh yeah, because Detroit. That's right.
Yeah, because my wife's from Detroit, so
Yeah.
got to go. And I mentioned I've been to Little Caesars Arena one time, and it was for Disney on Ice. So I don't know Little Caesars Arena like that, but it is a nice arena. Like the one time I was there, it is a very nice arena. Let's see, we got Brent Lockman says, "Happy Grapsody, Grapsody." I like that,
I like it.
gentlemen. anything more badass than Brody choking Darby out, dropping him, and then his own band starts playing through the PA. I know that was really cool.
California, baby. Brody King, we out here. Anytime my California boys get a shine, I love it. I love Brody King winning this match because I think he's a viable contender. People see him and they're like, badass, gonna be great. Jon Moxley always works well with guys like this too, so it's a great thing. That finish was awesome. He choked down Darby, hung him over the thing, and dropped him. Beautiful. I loved it.
Really great finish. I really like the Royal Rampage, by the way.
That
really
was fun.
Concept.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I have that as one of the topics. Dream Ninja says, quick shout out to the FTR Watch Grapsody piece. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, it threw me off. I had my question prepared. I was about to ask about the music. And I'd like – so one of the things when I go to media scrums is that I will, that they told us like I think 2 scrums ago that they wanted us to start introducing ourselves and stating our platform. So that's where that comes from, because people are like, why do you guys do that when we didn't do that before? It's kind of a recent thing. They asked us to do it. And so if Sean's there, and he's been there most of the times, I won't say I'm representing Fightful. I'm usually representing Grapsody. That's usually what I'll say. But Sean, I've been going in place of Sean the last 2 shows. And so I say, Will Washington, Fightful. And so that's what I said this time when I introduced myself. And then, Cash just chimes in. He's like, Grapsody. And I was like...
Cash Knife. Hey, bro. The brand. The brand is strong, baby.
If you could see it, because it was like Will was sitting in the front row and he asked this, and I was behind him, like catacorded to him, sitting next to the aisle. And so when this happened, I was like, wait, what? And so it was almost like when you watch anime when somebody's shocked by something and like fall over. Like that's almost what it looked like. I was like, yo, what?
That was cool. Shout out.
That little 8 seconds view, that 8-second video went viral. There's like 50,000 views. I'm like, why do you guys like this so much? You guys like Grapsody? Watch us, baby. What's up? We out here.
Tony's face during this exchange is still hilarious
so good. To me. Oh, that was the best part, I think. He just like...
it was great stuff. It threw me off though, because I'm like, what the hell is my question? Because I didn't write it down. I had it like mentally prepared, and I'm like, I don't remember what I was supposed to ask. Theme music, get back on theme music.
And I love how our supporters are just like, there's a couple people that have been like, yeah, everybody in AEW watches your show. I'm like, how do you know that?
Hey, we got some good interviews coming up next week, by the way. So,
oh yeah, we do.
Hey, man.
But,
by the way, I want to again back to back scrum for your boys.
Let's go,
that's
baby.
Why we're out here, man.
And every time there's a scrum, who is about it? Who? I'm saying. Y'all got to talk to Okada. I'm jealous. I wish I could have been in that scrum because Okada was there, bro.
I fucking okay. Your man's a fucking chicken here, because I have to tell you that. So what was the order of questions, right? So I know it was Moxley, and then who came after Moxley? The hell, I don't remember. No, Moxley wasn't first, right? Moxley was
I was about to say Moxley wasn't first.
No,
Jay White was first.
Jay White was first. Okay, so this is what happened. So I had my question prepared for Tony. The question I ended up asking at the end. That was the question I was going to ask, right? So I raised my hand, and they were like, okay, Will, you're next. And then Jay White walks in, and I'm like, and so they had the mic prepared to hand to me.
Oh, shit.
And Jay White walks in, and I'm like, okay, I have seen Jay White in these press scrums. Jay White is the absolute best at it, but he rips people apart. I don't have the question prepared for that. And so they like hand them up to me, and I'm like, no, don't give this shit.
I don't want this.
I'm like, because I was already, because they had already picked me to ask the next question for Tony, and then Jay White walked in, and Jay White's like, going crazy about his belt not having a thing because his belt fell over, and he's like cutting a promo on everybody about the belts, and he's just pissed off, and I'm like, I'm not asking Jay White a question right now. I don't I'm not prepared for this. I was prepared more for I was more prepared for the out of character kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, Jay White comes in firing off all cylinders,
yeah,
bro.
Jay White comes in firing, and so they're like, all right, who's first? And they go to hand me the mic, and I'm like, Nah.
No.
I almost turned into Gato at one point when dude asked him that question about being the best leader. I started to ask for the mic, like, yo, he's the best leader of Bullet Club. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. Like I said, I'm more prepared for the out of character kind of stuff. I had questions, and I had a question for Thunder Rosa, but they didn't get to me.
That's actually super funny that you say that, because like New Japan, they are the kings of media scrums. Like they do it after every show. Like that's
and
thing,
Jay White is Jay White fucking owns
he
it.
knows what this is about to be.
And
about.
I know Jay White well enough to know I'm not the guy for this one. Mm-hmm. And so when they handed me the mic, shout out John Schneider going to hand me the mic, I went, Nope.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this is how great Jon Moxley is. After the media scrums at most New Japan shows, they have like the beer or the Shima up there. And of course, you know, Jon Moxley is a recovering alcoholic. So he brought a case of like that sports drink. I don't know if everybody else noticed that reference, but I noticed it right away. I was like, Moxley's the man. Like I didn't
catch the reference, but I knew that was non-alcoholic beer, but I didn't realize why that was. But
yeah, cool. most times champions win at New Japan. They come in and they have the beer set up for them at the media scrum, and he brought his own non-alcoholic drink. I was like, I love it. Mox is that dude. He's doing a post New Japan AEW show, and so I was like, come on, man,
the best.
Now I had a question for Okada. I didn't get a chance to ask it, but. Mm-hmm. Watching him in that scrum, I was like, this is why Okada's the guy. He's like suited up. He's like, he looks like the guy. He looks like every bit of the guy you want representing your company, even without a belt.
Yep. He just has that aura.
And man, all the ladies around, by the way. And I was surrounded by about 6 in my vicinity, right? Speaking of anybody who was like, "Oh, Forbidden Door is a sausage fest," that at least from where I sat, I literally had multiple nearby me. Lost my hearing for a second at the screams for Okada. It was that loud. Like when that coin drop hit and he hit the stage, the screaming was so loud.
No, Okada is out here. He's the man.
Yeah. He doesn't need a belt to be over. I saw people saying it was a mistake to put the title on Jay White, which is kind of sacrilege.
Bro could never be IWGP champion again, and he's set for life.
I'll say this. I don't think it was a mistake to put it on Jay White as a whole, but I think it would have meant more if Okada had walked in as champ to Forbidden Door than Jay White.
I think so, too. Yeah. I agree.
I don't think that it would have, because of the story coming into it, because of Jay White basically taking shots at Kenny Omega for months and basically interrupting and taking over the announcement for Forbidden Door. That was the story. He was going to come in and spoil this thing. He's the guy.
A spoiler.
I know. I just feel like for the fans, for what New Japan is, for who we wanted to see from New Japan, I still think that. It would have meant more, but I get for the story that Jay White walking in made sense. But
for the story, Jay White makes more sense. But kind of for the moment, Okada could have been a bigger thing.
Okada would have felt more like the guy with the belt.
Right.
Like I feel like had things turned out in like a perfect scenario, would have been Okada holding one belt and Punk holding the other, and then we didn't really get that.
Maybe, but I guess I just feel like. The bragging rights of when Kenny comes back of Jay White going like, no, this is me. I was IWGP champion.
I was a man. You weren't even here.
Your $1 Million Gate show, and the first show was New Japan, and you were not here. I am the guy. I am the catalyst.
Right.
So
Nathan says you're in Chicago. There are 9,000 Mexican joints open until 3 a.m. I didn't know that.
No, I'm about to get some Mexican food in Chicago. What's up?
Look, my trips to Chicago have been Hoffman Estates, which ain't Chicago, and don't have Mexican open at 3 o'clock in the morning. But being finally at the United Center, which, by the way, like, I just felt like I was in a historic place. It feels like, man, I've been here a million times, and like, don't understand why I'm geeking out over here. I'm like, this is the house that
Jordan played in here. Jordan was up in here.
That's not why I said that. I said I've been here 1,000 times because this is home. But listen, again. Punk coming out and looking around at like the banners and like this is home, 6 rings, Chicago Blackhawks, this is home. And so watching that stuff, like I'm legitimately tearing up because look, this is home. Like we're outside, bro. Like I don't live in Hoffman Estates. I don't live in Rosemont. I live on the south side.
South
We're
side
home.
of Chicago. Where
That's
all the
great.
best rappers come from. Let's go, baby. Hey, Chance the Rapper is fucking killing it right now too.
Chance
huh?
came
Ain't he
out
going
with
crazy?
the dope record with Joey,
Yeah.
man. Lupe dropped a banger of an album
Yeah.
this week. Nah, look,
Chicago.
we're winning, bro. Back to
Yeah.
back.
You know
Yeah.
what though? I while driving through Chicago on my way, that was the thing getting me through finding that parking spot was I was listening to Lupe the whole way. And I forgot I actually had a little story.
He paints a great picture of Chicago, that's for sure.
He does, yeah. But you know what though? As much as like people kind of harp on Lasers for being a more commercial type album, I'll say this: it came out at the right time for me because it came out right around the time my daughter was born, and so the song "Coming Up" specifically, like, really kind of helped guide me into like the dad I wanted to be. There's a lot of lines in that song that really resonated with me. And I don't know, just it came on while I was driving, and it had been a long time since I'd heard it, and it was just a reminder of how much that album was like right place, right time for me when it came.
Yeah,
By
I
the
could be biased, but I don't think that Lupe has a bad album. I don't think Lasers is a bad album. It is one of his.
It's just
weakest
not
albums.
what it's just what people weren't expecting from Lupe. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
it's one of his weakest albums, but it's not a bad album. And I mean, it has Words I've Never Said on there, which is one of his best records. So
One of my favorite it's a B-side of Lasers, but it's I'm Beamin'. That's like legit one of my top 5 Lupe
why is
songs. I
that
love
song not on the album?
I don't know why it's
a
not
hidden
like
track, but
yeah, it is.
Demon
Like,
is absolutely one of his best records as well.
I love it. Amazing.
Yeah. I had a super chat that scrolled off the screen, and I feel really bad about it because it was from Cole, and I love Cole. And
Cole was agreeing with me about hating Dwayne Wade, by the way.
Oh, there's
I don't
that.
know what D Wade did to y'all, man.
Come on, Cole, baby.
RH says you can count on high standards from Phil with his writing, takes, and late night food choices.
I mean-
Also, Grapsody is the best pod going today.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
double. We out here, baby.
Yeah,
And Phil is definitely out here. He in these streets. He's celebrating. He's still celebrating your birthday, right? It's lit still.
No, man,
Jake
back to
said,
back.
"Reg, I ain't never heard nobody sing along to No Disturbed."
You never been to a Disturbed show, Jake.
Your throat
I
gonna be
get
hurting
down
the
with the
whole time.
sickness. Come on, man. I'll get down with it.
I am going to disagree with you, Deem, because I see you saying Food and Liquor 2 is a weaker album. I don't agree. Food and Liquor 2 has Put 'Em Up on it, which is fire. It has Form Follows Function on it, which
It's
is
just too
also
long.
fire.
It's all like that song is fucking
I
great.
just don't like when people be doing these long ass projects, and that was one of them. So.
Jake also says, "I'm a real American. Fight for the rights of
Oh,
every
yeah.
man."
We're done.
Come on, Phil, finish it off.
I am absolutely not finishing.
Absolutely.
No.
I love it.
And he says, Reg, he says, "I ain't hear no Young Bucks drop Grapsody by name, but all right, Reg." Orion Ben says,
Hey, Jake. Okay, you got me this time, Jake.
Grapsody, Cash Wheeler approved. And he says, it showed who New Japan, or who was in JPW when Jay White went off. So
Fabulous, man.
So talking about the show itself really quick, last thing. My match of the night, and I said this, I told people this, and I was like, I'm not being ironic when I say that the match I'm most looking forward to is Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. That is the match I was most excited about, and they didn't let me down. I had a blast with that match from start to finish. I appreciated that Orange Cassidy came into it and ham, and I don't know, there was nothing, the story of the match, but Orange Cassidy still incorporated all of his shtick into the story. But it's a ton of, it had all the action you could want. It had all of the story you could want. I was about in the chat, 4.5 by Meltzer. Whatever, it's a 5 from me.
It's numbers. Yeah, no, this match was amazing. Will Ospreay, I mean, Will Ospreay was going to be there, so there wasn't 1 second that I doubted this wasn't going to bang, because he can do it with anybody. I exactly what you said. I love how Orange Cassidy still brought his little kicks and everything, which incorporated even more into the spots. The Kawada kick spot was amazing. People
That was
went
amazing.
crazy when they realized what was happening. So yeah, I think these two work together really well. Orange Cassidy's been working this. He used to work this style a lot. I saw someone do an interview. One of the wrestlers did an interview talking about Orange. Oh, it was Matt Hardy. He's talking about Orange. He was like, "Oh, Orange Cassidy doesn't have to do anything." Something he was saying, like it was discrediting. He was trying to credit Orange Cassidy while discrediting him, because like Orange Cassidy's shtick is like he's still working, he's still wrestling, it's not like, oh, he's lazy, that means he's lazy. No, being like he has to work to be lazy in a wrestling match and like to make his shit work. Like he doesn't get enough credit for the things that he does. And right here, it was on display. This was amazing, man. Will Ospreay is quite possibly, to a lot of people, the wrestler of the year. Every match that he has bangs. He did this. He did the shit with Moxley. He's done some shit in West Coast Pro with Titus Alexander. He's done some shit with Nick Wayne and GCW. Like this guy is incredible. I wasn't surprised that he did this with Orange Cassidy, and I agree too. My match of the night. This was tremendous. Bang.
No,
Tremendous.
I knew they were gonna kill it. When it was announced and people were like, "Oh, this match," I was like, "Are you guys kidding me? This match is gonna be very good." And so it was exactly what I thought it was gonna be, and actually, it was better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, honestly,
I think it was absolutely the best match on the card. If
on a
Brian
card full of fire, you know.
You know what made me tear up a little bit, by the way? Because, again, taking a little bit of a dig at people who talk about WWE guys. When, during the media scrum, when Claudio's taking questions, and Claudio says, this feels like home already. And he said, because I got backstage, and he was mentioning all these people that he already knew. He was like, I saw Orange Cassidy. And guys, if you weren't aware, these two go way back.
Super
go
way
back
back.
to Chikara, right? So, like,
Bryce Remsburg, his homie.
Bryce Remsburg, like him and Bryce Remsburg are tight. Like I took the picture, I tagged the two of them, and then Bryce, you stole my picture and didn't credit me for it. But you just lifted it right off my Twitter, Bryce Remsburg, and it didn't. Bryce Remsburg knows Claudio quite well. Like Claudio, he mentioned that he walked into this locker room.
Chuck Taylor, all the people from Chikara, like he has history with a bunch of wrestlers, and not just from WWE, like from before WWE.
Yeah, that's what I mean. People who have never worked in WWE. Claudio, he said it felt like homie, that it felt like a reunion almost. Essentially walking into this locker room and seeing all these people that he's known from pretty much all walks of his career. And he said it was a no-brainer for him because he knew all these people. And like, I almost teared up a little bit, though, when he said that, because he's like, it just made sense. I fit here. I knew.
That was legit. No-brainer is a great way to describe that, because it was like Claudio's, like when he got released from over there, he didn't do it like, you know what's up.
Am I throwing unnecessary shade at Bryce Remsburg because I'm being told Bryce did thank me for it?
Why are you doing Bryce like that, man?
Shame on you, man.
Damn,
So,
Bryce is just
This
trying to
whole
credit and
episode
everything.
is people trying to get you to calm down and not take shots at people. Shame on you.
Why are you doing
All
Bryce
right, let's
like
see.
that?
Let's see. Because all right, if he did, my bad. Either way, I was joking anyway.
Yeah,
but
definitely, of course. But shit,
yeah.
Claudio, he showed up. That
Yeah, he
shit was
did.
lit.
Okay, I missed that. You're right. You're absolutely right. I did a search for William RBR in Bryce Remsburg's Twitter, and he actually did. So thank you, Nick, for pointing. And
Bryce says that 50 Cent video. He's like, "Fuck me." What? We'll go. Why you say "fuck me"?
What I did.
So okay, all right. Bryce gave me credit, so thank you, Bryce. But either way, the
Great show.
But yeah, look,
great
man,
show.
y'all got to put some respect on Orange's name, man. He gets some of the loudest pops at shows. He's one of the most over baby faces in the company. Nah, man. Yeah, everybody that tries to make their Orange Cassidy jokes, either they don't watch the show or they just hate the product. Right. And I'm like, yo, it is what it is.
How about friend of the show, cousin of the show in this pre-show match? How amazing was this fucking Swerve in their glory? How Swerve was like on
Swerve was in his
10,
bag,
man. Oh my god. He was like, let me show y'all niggas how it is done. and this was how it was done right here.
Swerve
Holy
was
shit.
in his bag for sure. I feel like he had one of the best performances of the night. I really like that tag match.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see him fight Despy 1-on-1 at this point.
Definitely. They have some great chemistry together.
And Swerve's going to be him and Keith this Wednesday facing Butcher and the Blade, which is a perfect matchup, right? Like when you think about the just the size comparison, like if there was, I guess, an AEW white counterpart to the Swerve in Our Glory as Butcher and the Blade, right? Like it's actually perfect putting those two up against each other. So that should be good. As like I get excited for this stuff because granted, while I've specifically said I don't want to know like results and things like that, like I've told Swerve before plenty of times, don't tell me. You know, I'll be like, I'll message him like, hey, I got a good feeling about tonight. But otherwise, don't tell me about victories. Don't tell me about none of that stuff. But I have some kind of inklings as to where things are heading with Swerve and Keith Lee, and like I'm excited about it. So
if you read my predictions on Bleacher Report for the All Out card, I believe that those guys will be wrestling each other at that show. Just a hunch.
Let's go, baby. That's gonna be fire.
I also predicted, because I was like, I think the women's match will be Rosa versus Sheeta, and Sheeta's back. So I was like, come on, man, book the.
But she's got to go. She's got to go back for Summer Sun Princess like next week,
which looks like an amazing show.
That's turning out to be an amazing show, and
look, man,
but also Thunder Rosa's on that card too. So like,
look,
she'll be back.
And Willow Nightingale's on that card too.
Yeah.
So.
looks amazing. If you guys want to watch it, of course, you can watch it on Wrestling Universe. If you're not a Tokyo Joshi Pro fan,
Wrestling Universe is such a great deal.
It is.
And you get a free trial. So if you wait until the day of the show, you can technically watch it for free.
You get them free trials, baby.
You can't beat that.
But you get so much content with Wrestling Universe. They ain't even a sponsor. You get a shit ton of content here. Like,
yep, I pulled them up to watch fucking DDT and Dragon Gate. No, what's the one that Ninja Mac was in? Noah. Sorry, I pulled up to watch Noah, and great service. A lot of great content on there if you want to get some non-New Japanese wrestling in your life.
Speaking of Japanese wrestling, shout out to Tam Nakano. Had an amazing steel cage match the same week as Forbidden Door with Natsupoi. Really good match. And then they turned around and had a rematch at Corrigan Hall, and it was even better. Tam Nakano is killing it right now. Like, just seeing where she came from like Oedo Tai of being like kind of the mascot to being like a white belt champion to being like one of the best wrestlers in Stardom. Tam Nakano's up, man.
Awesome.
So other things to talk about. Blood and Guts happened this past week, and Blood and Guts saw blood and guts. And
we saw somebody's guts.
Yeah, somebody's. Of course, we came out of that show with some injuries, though.
Oh God!
We saw Santana is hurt. I mean, that's the thing. Is what's so interesting to me about injuries in general. I've said this before, but you would think that the more dangerous the match, the more likely the injury, right? But like Santana didn't get hurt off of anything that was specific to the match.
Right.
It was something he would have done in any other match. And
just hip toss.
Yeah.
If there was one ring with no cage, same thing, same result. So,
right.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
But otherwise, it was quite a showing. I thought that it's crazy.
And interesting along that lines too. I saw our homie SRS talking a little bit about the relationship between Santana and Ortiz and how it's been a little bit. Because I've been thinking the same thing. I've been saying that Santana's been taking some independent bookings and doing some things kind of outside of, the tag team with Ortiz. So he was saying that there could maybe be some troubles in the water. I don't know. He could have been just talking and nobody really knows anything that happened. But I have thought the same thing. I have thought that the kind of relationship between everything involving like them and their group has been kind of interesting. I don't want to say weird, but it's been interesting the last couple weeks. So, and then for this to happen, it's just like the worst. Like this
Honestly,
sucks.
I've had that inkling since really like January, because
Right.
that was like back at Terminus when Santana came out and challenged Jonathan Gresham. And yeah, it has felt like he probably does see singles. He probably does have singles aspirations. And to be fair, you're 100% allowed to. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
I almost feel bad a lot of times for Angelo Dawkins. The amount of times I hear people who are like, Montez Ford is it. Montez Ford is about to be the biggest star in the world. Montez Ford. And I love Montez Ford, and I think that man has all the
We agree.
But man, dude, I shed a little tear for Angelo Dawkins every single time somebody is like, hey, Montez Ford is the future, and can't wait to see him break off. And I'm like,
because it's like that's the part that drives me crazy. It's like he can fucking Angelo could be there too with him. Like it doesn't have to be
you know how this company is though.
If it's WWE, they have to break up. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty did it. That's the only way you get a guy. That's not the only way you get a guy over.
But I do feel like Montez, like he definitely
Montez is going up. There's nothing that's gonna stop him.
Right. He's gonna be the guy. But like, so I see it from tag teams, and like I suppose between Santana and Ortiz, like if I saw a singles career for one of them, it is probably Santana. And he probably sees that in himself too. As far as the match itself was concerned, again, it was electric the whole time. Like, it was really electric. The atmosphere in Detroit came through as a crowd. It is one of those things where what they said that the top 3 shows, TV shows, attendance wise, thus far, as far as crowds are concerned, were number 1 was LA, number 2 was
California,
the SmackDown Go Home show to WrestleMania in Dallas. So I mean, and that makes sense. You had all of the Dallas travelers in town.
Everybody's there.
It was the night before WrestleMania, like yeah, of course. And then number 3 was this Detroit show, and like, but LA and Detroit were particular because they were deprived for a long time. Every single time a new AEW show got announced, you look in the comments, the first comment was, when y'all coming to LA, when y'all coming to Detroit, when you coming to LA, when you coming to Detroit. And I personally, and shout out to being wrong, I personally thought if they were going to run Detroit, and of course I lived in Detroit for a little while. I say Detroit, but it was maybe like 30 minutes outside of Detroit. But hell, I went to a barbershop in Flint, so maybe not close at all. But either way, lived in Michigan for a while. And I thought going to Little Caesars Arena was ambitious for them because I'm like, that's a big arena. That's one of the newest arenas in America. I maybe would start with something a little bit smaller, maybe look at some of the arenas in Ann Arbor. I don't know. But I think going for the biggest one in Detroit, the arena, that feels ambitious. That feels like a lofty goal. They fucking did it.
Yeah.
and
Detroit was ready for this shit.
And it was already sold before. The majority of the tickets were sold before they announced Blood and Guts. They did well. But yeah, they were going crazy during this match. It atmospherically reminded me, I won't say match-wise it did, but atmospherically it reminded me of Wrestle War 92. And which, of course, Tony Khan has called his favorite match of all time.
Yeah.
But hearing just the fans just screaming the whole time and going crazy for each spot.
Countdown, everything, like they were just lit for all of it. Yeah.
So that was a great time
for their favorite wrestler to get in. Yeah, that was great atmosphere for sure.
Speaking of going crazy, have to give the Acclaim their flowers. I saw them do 3 entrances between Forbidden Door and Friday.
You guys, they
are super over,
they
bro.
Are,
like, it's
every
crazy.
time their music hits, the crowd goes nuts.
I know the opening, the little alarm at the start, like
every single time. It's like not just like it's like huge. Like, oh my god, we're so excited for the Acclaim.
They are super.
And honestly, this is the time to kind of start to turn them face. But don't change anything about the act.
No,
just
keep it exactly the same.
Yeah,
but
you know what? They've already started turning them.
Yeah, and breaking them off from the ass boys. But the hard part is like, look, there are few things that pop me better than "Scissor Me Daddy Ass," but "Scissor Me Daddy Ass" is the
Scissor
funniest
me
fucking
daddy ass.
phrase. And,
Yeah, no, like I agree though, Phil. I think
Anthony Bowen's like every time he does it, it pops me.
I think they've been setting this up for a while because the face turn. Because anytime you say the name of where you're at and you're being genuine about it, like they've been setting this up with Anthony Bowens being like, wherever we are, he says it and he says for you guys to help. That's babyface stuff. Like a heel's not.
It
gonna,
is.
You know what I mean? Like
I think the way that they wisely
Although the New Age Outlaws had their shtick as heels for a long time.
Yeah, but eventually people loved it so much that they had to turn them.
But they turned them back heel. Like their last run in
because
2000,
Road Dogg sucks.
Yeah, their last run is heels. In 2000, they were heels, and like they tried to change up some stuff, but like
when they put him back with Triple H too.
Yeah, they made him Triple H's lackeys, and and Road Dogg like tried to change up some stuff where he's like the New Age Outlaws always kick that she is knit doggy style with all your mamas.
Yeah,
and like they're like.
With all your mamas.
Yeah.
I won't get into the Road Dogg slander that I have welling up in my stomach right now. But
no, you know what though? Road Dogg talked this week about he talked about his jealousy of The Rock. And you know what?
You can feel it.
You could feel it. I said like I knew it.
What?
I already
Hold
knew
on,
that.
hold on. What?
He talked about how one of the first things he did when he was born again and all of that is you have to
did he think The Rock was taking a spot because you're not The Rock? You're comparing
so what he said
Rock,
was
are you drunk?
What he said was when he reformed and all of that, one of the first things they have you do is reach out to people that you've wronged, and he said that he reached out to The Rock because he felt like he knew deep down he was jealous of The Rock in the 90s and 2000. And
shit.
And he did a lot of what he could do to like sabotage The Rock back then.
Didn't work.
Him and his voice were absolutely sabotaging The Rock.
It didn't work.
But you know what though? I remember there's a specific promo where Road Dogg, and this was back in the day of like not fully scripted promos where people just kind of spoke shit. And I remember the Road Dogg cut a promo where he was like, "Rock, I'm gonna leave you in a pool of your own talentless puke," and I was like. He always spoke in a way that like tried to cut deep at The Rock.
That's why I said you could tell.
You could tell back then. And so
but
when
it's
he said that
we don't believe you. We need more people like Road Dogg. It's The Rock.
Ain't nobody here to see you, Road Dogg.
No way, not at all. Not one person is in here.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
No, his whole crew was kind of jealous because I mean we heard the backstories of
The Rock don't like nobody else. He don't like Shawn Michaels. He don't like none of them people.
No, Shawn Michaels tried to stop WrestleMania 15 from happening.
Yeah, he don't like none of them boys.
I have these conspiracy theories in my brain that Rock stepped away from wrestling for 7 years, but those were the exact 7 years that Shawn Michaels was back. And
he wasn't
Shawn Michaels retired in 2010. Why'd The Rock return to wrestling in 2011? It's been in my brain for a long time.
Those numbers are adding up. That's not too crazy of a conspiracy theory.
Right.
Like
Shawn returned in 2002, and all of a sudden Rock's like, I think I'm going to do movies.
I'm gonna try this Scorpion King thing.
He didn't come back that whole time. And then Shawn retires 2010, and suddenly in 2011, Rock's like, I think I could do wrestling again. I don't know. I find it a little weird.
I think they talked a little bit in 2004 that they could possibly have a match together. I think there was a little chatter, but Rock was never going to do that.
But Rock was asked, and he straight up was like, in the kindest way possible, he's like, I'm not about working.
Not for me.
That. He was like, I want to work with the future. I don't really want to work with the past. And I think that was the way of saying
wow.
He was like, he was like, putting over John Cena and all that is like what he's here to do. But like, people were like, what about Shawn Michaels? Like, I think I'm gonna work with the younger talent. But I think that was his way of just being like, look, I am not working with Shawn Michaels. I don't give a fuck about that guy. Like that's not my guy.
Hey, man.
And there's a story about Shawn Michaels acting like a dick to his grandma too, The Rock's grandma used to be a wrestling promoter. So that beef is forever. He's never gonna stop.
Shout out Shauna says, giving love to my guys. Forbidden Door made me need NJPW. Okada, my God. New Japan just legit got a fan. Happy birthday, Phil. I'm glad that happened. I think, the amount of people that the talk about how is this going to create new fans? And I think people were really looking at it from AEW's perspective. Will it create more AEW fans? But like, I think New Japan benefited here. I think there's a lot of people who weren't aware of New Japan talent, and I think I recognize why people looked at it from an AEW perspective, but I think New Japan also stood to gain a lot here and probably more. So
Agreed.
Yeah, I think Zack Sabre coming out and having that match with Claudio is going to be beneficial for him, and I think it's definitely setting up the match with Brian later. I think him cutting the promo afterwards of saying, "No, I'm still the best technical wrestler in the world," because that
what
guy
was
didn't
that?
wrestle.
Yeah, he was like, "What was that?" There was no
match.
technical wrestling here. Were you swinging me around?
Man, I loved it. I loved that promo. I just love how much of a dick this Zack Sabre is. Because
I love it.
Like, he's like, whatever. I wasn't beaten by a great technical wrestler.
I love
so
the promo, the setup promo where he's backstage at New Japan and he's like, "You want to know who the best technical wrestler is? It's fucking me." It's like he said, "It's fucking me."
Yeah, him during the New Japan Cup, which is one of my favorite Zack Sabre runs. Him winning the New Japan Cup, and after he beat Naito, he was like, "Yeah, now who's Tranquilo, dickhead?" It's so great. So, man, I'm a big Zack Sabre fan. I was sitting there during the Claudio match, like, man, I really wish this was him versus Brian. Like,
ooh, man,
him versus Brian in the United Center would have been
crazy on that card.
But Shibata was in the United Center again. Back to fucking back, goddammit. Shibata in the United Center. Like, what?
Yeah, I think for New Japan, who's trying still to constantly cross over to the American market, they have a big, they're growing their following here. I think that show was a perfect way to be like, hey, when we come back with New Japan Strong, you're going to want to come to these shows because it's lit. Our guys are fire.
Shibata was a great surprise. I wasn't expecting Shibata.
Right.
But back on the topic of blood and guts, though, I think one thing I was really happy to see was Moxley as champ again. And how like kind of right it feels as he's making his way through the crowd with that belt. But that was only, despite having been champ almost a year, he's champ for 9 months. That was only the second time Jon Moxley entered the crowd as champion.
Moxley is already my favorite champion because he's doing what I want champions to do. Defend the fucking belt. He's already defending the belt. He's going to defend the belt way more often than anybody else. And I love that shit.
I said this as soon as they announced the Rampage or the Royal Rampage, I said that one of the cool things about Moxley as champ was that he is now the 6th AEW champion, if you count it. But really, there's been 5 AEW champions. And that, to me, I feel like the most present champion that belt has had was Jon Moxley. As far as who was there. And like now we know in hindsight, Kenny was injured through a lot of it. So like he was only going to have like major matches. But like Moxley was out there. He defended the title against fucking Butcher.
Yep.
Like he had
exactly. I love that.
Moxley was, if he was going to be there, Moxley is the type that if he's there, he's going to wrestle. And if he's going to have the championship, might as well defend it.
Defend it. I'm wrestling anyways. I'm going to go over. So add this little bit of stakes. It makes the most sense.
And so I feel like Moxley was a really present world champion. And the fact that the first night as champion, they announced, hey, he's defending the belt next week after having this blood and guts match this week.
Love it.
And I'm like, damn, we're going to get Moxley present as champion again.
I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
I'm so excited about it. I love it.
I did think it was very funny watching people online during Forbidden Door getting upset that Moxley was going to win. And I was like, of course Moxley's going to win because he's the guy that's going to be in the States to have the title.
He's going to be
an interim champion.
Yeah.
But Moxley said in the media scrum, one of the things he said there, and I appreciated it, was when he said that when I asked him his question about I said, how does this compare to the other one you had in Chicago? Man, your city is just it, right? But, the last time he won the title was in Chicago at Wintrust Arena. And I said, how does this compare to walking out of Chicago last time with the championship? And he said, I didn't realize it at the time, but this was kind of the culmination of my last 6 months, right? Like, you came back from and maybe it wasn't intended to be that way, but it happened that way, that he came back from rehab and he's worked his way back up and he became champ again. Like, this is the payoff to that. And he said sometimes things don't work out. He said sometimes things work out in a weird way, and this is one of those cases where it worked out for him.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. This is the payoff to that.
Awesome.
It is. And I also, there's no way in the world that you don't have Mox work kind of heelish against possibly one of the greatest baby faces ever in Tanahashi.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, of course the crowd was going to get into Tanahashi because he's Tanahashi. Like, he's one of the greatest faces ever. So watching the crowd latch on to Tanahashi and Mox then taking the cue to healing up, like that's what they were supposed to do. So people getting mad and going, they made the wrong choice. The crowd wanted Tanahashi to win. Of course the crowd wanted Tanahashi to win.
Works. It's wrestling.
First of all, this is Chicago, and we're thinking like this is Punk's spot. No, of course, a big part of Chicago didn't want him to win because this is supposed to be Punk's match, and it's smart to get Mox booed for setup with the match with Punk later.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Mox always kind of works more on the heelish side when it has to do with New Japan. It's like when it's New Japan stuff, he's always leaning more towards being a heel.
Yeah, I thought it was great that he came out with the Death Rider theme at first and then switched in a Wild thing. I thought that was
I thought that was a cool representation of the fact that he is New Japan and AEW.
Right.
That he wasn't necessarily fully representing AEW here, and I enjoyed that. So next topic, let's talk about John Cena.
It's Cena.
John Cena returned this past week, Monday Night Raw. It was hyped up for weeks. It was the 20th anniversary of the 16-time WWE champion. He's held that belt right here, the undisputed belt. He held that belt right here.
He's never been booed ever. All that was fake.
That belt here, and he held that belt.
What did the homie Brian Gewirtz tweet about the other day? He said that people only hated him because kids hated him or some shit.
Or kids like that. You know what's funny is.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the weird thing is, and you know, people were like, no, we didn't like him because he changed up and became
military
kid
man.
Friendly in all of that. And I thought about that.
Military man.
And it was like, you know, was
that's when I was done, when he started doing all this, and I'm like, all right, see you later, bro. Can't.
I know, it's like you're promoting a movie. It all happened around the time they were when he started doing the salute and all that. But so John Cena, 20 years, and he did. He, of course, they talked a lot about that. That's the debut match with Kurt Angle. He came in and kind of, I don't know. He had. Look, I was a big John Cena guy. Pretty much. You could go back to the first podcast I ever did, and part of the reason I even started podcasting, I can't believe I'm admitting this now, 17 years later, was just to defend John Cena against internet people. Because like I felt like, look, there's a lot of like strong internet voices that are anti John Cena, and I want to be pro John Cena, and that was part of my presence back then. Even though I fully recognize why people didn't like John Cena. He was, I said on Twitter this week, John Cena almost created a whole new set of hardcore wrestling fans because his wrestling was almost so clumsy upon his drafting to Raw that even like non-hardcore fans were noticing. Where like I posted a clip of his first Raw match that had just a bunch of like weirdly timed spots and like stuff that didn't look good at all. And it's like, this was the WWE champion. And I feel like there were a lot of people who saw that and were like, this guy's WWE champion. He can't fucking wrestle. And
that's why You Can't Wrestle chant started.
That's where the chant started.
Wrestle.
And I feel like Cena doesn't get enough credit for having shed that stuff very quickly. I feel like by 2006 he was fine.
Yeah.
But the You Can't Wrestle stuff pretty much.
But he learned that he didn't have to do so much. I think that's what it was. Like the clip you're showing, he's just trying to do too much. And like if you just kind of sit back and relax and become what he did, then he figured out a formula to make it happen.
Yeah, but like there's a lot that Cena did accomplish, and
Yeah.
I think seeing him this past week and seeing the adulation and the fact that, like, I think even Cena sometimes it throws him off to not hear the boos anymore, because like he's talked about the fact that when he came out at Money in the Bank last year and he came out to do he was trying to do the whole orchestrating the crowd thing, and they're not singing John
They're
Cena.
like, no, we
sucks.
like you.
And he's like, okay, this is weird, but okay.
Well, he rehabbed his shit going to do Peacemaker or whatever the fuck show
Which was
he's on
fire.
and all that
Peacemaker
shit.
was
Yeah,
a
you know.
great show.
I mean, it is weird that he's like, and he pointed it out too, that like kids still love John Cena, and
Yeah.
he's like, there's a 6-year-old in the crowd dressed as John Cena, and he's like, I was already 14 years into my
Right.
career when
Yeah.
this kid was born. What is this? But kids still love Cena, and it doesn't make any
Never
sense
fails.
because Cena really hasn't like been full time in about 5 years, and actually almost 6 years
Since that
What-
kid was born.
what children even know John Cena except like from YouTube clips.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course he made sure he interacted with as many people backstage as he could. He had the interaction with Theory behind the scenes or backstage, and people were like, "This is the match," and no, it's not. Because
Did he do a dark match?
No.
What the
guy
fuck?
was fucking
Why the
wrestle
fuck did
at all.
you have him there and not have him slam somebody? I don't get it.
To give him his flowers. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
this
say
is, and that's
that
what this was for.
I
gets
am the complete opposite of Will Washington. I was a big John Cena hater, and I think a big part of why, all the way to the point that
complete opposite.
like all the way to the point that when people are like talk about your time as a Laps fan, it was a good chunk of Cena being on top of me being a Laps fan because I just didn't like Cena. I deeply resented him being this super ultra white guy taking on black culture and getting over. And I was
going
like, yo,
there.
I was like, yo, they would never let a black wrestler do what this man is doing and get over. And I hated it. I hated him coming out to the rap thing. I hated him coming out and doing his funky bunk Chaz fucking freestyle. I thought it was corny. And so when Punk came back and cut the pipe bomb, that was what got me back into wrestling. Because, of course, I'm a Punk guy. And so I was like, yes, get him the fuck out of here. And so by the time Money in the Bank 2011 came and he beat him, like, that cemented me as a Punk guy. Are you kidding me? In Chicago, he hated Cena too. Like, like that's a big part of why I like Punk. And so... yeah, but at the same time, I think Cena's doing this thing now where, like, almost when Kobe retired and he had his retirement tour, I was a big Kobe hater as well because I was like I was a Jordan guy, and then I was an Iverson guy too, so it's like I wasn't a Kobe fan. And so watching Kobe retire, it was like, man, I can't imagine watching basketball without Kobe Bryant.
Right.
Kobe Bryant has been playing my entire time as a basketball fan. And so it's the same kind of thing with Cena where it's like I appreciate Cena a lot more now because it's like he gave me somebody to hate. He gave me this foil for me to be like, nah, I don't like this guy. And so like even like during the AJ stuff, like I was a big AJ guy when he first came in. When he was like, yo, beat up John Cena, I was like, yes, it's time. And the Good Bros was there. I was like, yo, pack him up, bro.
Exactly what you're describing here is exactly how my life is with The Rock. Like when The Rock was the biggest wrestler in the world, I was not a fan. You guys know me. I love spots. I love flips. I love shits. He wasn't doing that. I thought, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I thought most of his shtick was corny as fuck. He was telling people to drink shut up juice and just like, I was like, what are you talking about? Most of the time I was like, I don't get it. But in retirement, kind of going back and looking at things from, a different perspective. Now I think he's great. I think a lot of the stuff that he did, I think his matches are great that he had back in the day. I think a lot of the stuff, still think a lot of shit he did
Rock
was corny.
doesn't get enough,
but he was a great talent for sure.
You know what Rock doesn't get enough credit for? Choppy now. I feel choppy. Yep. That's what I thought.
Yep. You better call those Xfinity sons of. Well, he's gone. But yeah, I hope The Rock never hears what I just said because he's my number one on my list of wanting to interview. He's
you're
number
definitely
one.
wilding. I was a huge Rock fan. Like
I wasn't a fan, man.
Rock was my number one guy at one point. Like I was a big Rock fan.
I just wasn't for me at the time.
I don't know what's going on with my connection today, but again, I can see you guys' facial expressions. That's hope.
Damn it, man! Technology's beating our ass.
It is.
He's gone again.
All right.
He's back.
Am I good now? Am I okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
For now.
What I was trying to is that what I think Rock doesn't get enough credit for is his return in 2001, because I feel like he hit a whole new athletic gear that year.
He did.
Where like in 2000, up until 2000, Rock was really just known for the shtick, right? But then I thought when he returned in 01 and he was leaner, he had gotten, as John Cena said, the liposuction on your boobies, and but just
see, that's y'all like this. Y'all like that, and y'all be making fun of me for liking Seth. Y'all like that,
bro? They had when they had their feud, they had a corny off. It was like, who could be more corny? It was a feud.
But like the way Rock came back leaner, and then all of a sudden he just had this new athletic gear that he didn't seem to. He had just this. I don't know. It was like this fifth gear that he could like shift into. That all of a sudden we were seeing him get in there with the guys like Kurt Angle, guys like he used to have a match with Jericho. He used to have a match with Eddie Guerrero. Like that match that everybody talked about with Eddie Guerrero. Like that's one of Rock's kind of best athletic performances.
He has one of the best spear sell from Rhino too. He started messing around with Rhino, and people loved the way he would take the spear and all the stuff that came with
the
that
best stunner sell in the business.
Yeah.
Nobody sold a stunner like Rock.
But like Brock Lesnar, Booker T, like when he was starting to get in there and having these athletic showings, like that was where I think Rock started showing out and showing something that he didn't necessarily have before.
I guess having better talent to work with, because all the WCW and ECW guys came in, so it was just like, hey, let's see what he does with these exceptionally talented wrestlers, and he fucking did it. So yeah,
I mean, I always commend that time period for Austin too. Austin, are you kidding me? Austin, the mid card matches Austin was having in.
Austin had a broken neck, and he took 10 German suplexes from Chris Benoit.
I know. I was like, the matches Austin was having from 1998 till 99 compared to the matches he was having when he came back in 2000, because all of a sudden he came back to this new roster. He came back, and all of WWE had made Kurt Angle a star. They signed Chris Benoit. They signed Eddie Guerrero. Chris Jericho was suddenly he was moved up the card, and Austin went in there and was like, I want to work with all of these guys, and I want to work. And he's like, and I want to work their types of matches. And Austin suddenly reminded us that he was still that guy. He didn't just need to go in there and have some bullshit ass match with a couple of punches and a stunner. Like he's like, no, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna do a match with Chris Benoit where I take 10 German suplexes. I'm gonna go in there and have a Kurt Angle type match at SummerSlam. I'm gonna go in there and work with Eddie Guerrero. I'm gonna have Chris Jericho matches, and Austin reminded us that he was still Steve Austin. That was a great time, dude. That was an amazing time. But as far as John Cena is concerned, he came out this past Monday. He cut a promo, and in the promo, he made sure to kind of expectation set, because people really wanted to have the match.
I like it, being responsible.
Because people wanted to see the match with Theory. I don't know why.
Having a SummerSlam, probably.
No, it won't. He's not wrestling SummerSlam. That was the expectation set. Was he came out there and was like, I don't know when y'all see me again. And he said,
not going to be in 4 weeks at the fucking stadium show.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know when y'all are going to see me again. And like, this was a one-off. I think people were under the impression that this was going to be longer, but they set no expectation to see Cena again. Not next week. The week after. I don't think you're seeing John Cena for a while.
Off I do. Not gonna see that pop off at SummerSlam.
He said, "Yeah, y'all soak it all in. I'm here right now. This, enjoy this, but I don't know when I'm gonna be back."
Yeah, I thought that's what that promo was supposed to be. I think that was him kind of setting the expectation of, look, this is a celebration of my career. Thank you. I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
Yeah,
I won't be back. Came back with
big Hollywood money, bro.
it pained me to admit this because one of the other things with Cena is I've never liked his merch. I've always thought his merch looked cheesy. It's always super colorful and like very kid friendly. I've never liked it. So when he came back with the new like snapbacks that is clearly an homage to the Raiders caps, I was like, yo, that's kind of fire. I was like, I hate to admit this, but he might have a winner with this one.
Cap wasn't too bad. I agree. I was bored watching it, honestly. I want to see John Cena wrestle, dude. I don't give a fuck. There's 50 million John Cena promos to listen to. I don't need to listen to another one where he says all this. I don't care. Put this motherfucker in a match. If you have him for 10 minutes, you got him for 10 minutes. Use 5 of it for him to fucking find.
I mean, that's only if he wants to like actually bump like that. And I feel like he didn't come back to do that. He's like, I came back to cut a promo.
Yeah, not the bump. He could throw his FU from. He don't have to even go down with it.
He didn't even do his rap voice promo, man. He shortchanged you, man. He didn't get into his Marky Mark voice.
When as far as the Theory match is concerned, I don't think Theory is there yet. I think if you did Theory versus Cena right now, its closest equivalent is Cena versus Corbin from SummerSlam 2017, where Cena just kind of beat him and walked away. I feel like the best. That's not to say that I don't think Theory can get there. I think he can get to the level people want to see him at. But right now, I don't feel like Theory is above where Corbin was in 2017. Right. And Corbin had Money in the Bank. Like, that's not even to knock where Corbin was. He had the Money in the Bank briefcase at the time. But
Corbin getting himself in trouble and then having to give up his briefcase.
But like, I don't feel like Theory is there yet. I think that the selfish
he's probably losing tonight. Probably
the selfie shtick is a little too. I don't know. It's not quite what the rapper's gimmick was for Cena. Like, the rapper gimmick was something that, like, you took that and they put it up against the Undertaker, and it worked, right? It was like, yeah, this is an up and coming guy, but at the same time, we put him in there with Taker, and it people are buying it.
Did it work though?
It did. I thought it did. I was that like, it's funny. It's one of those things me and Cher Delaware have talked about doing, but both me and her have a lot of John Cena's raps memorized from that time period, and we were gonna do a John Cena rap off for his 20th anniversary. I know. Look, that John Cena versus Undertaker rap, I remember it vividly. Every single line. And I'm not gonna do it. Not now. One day. Yeah. But no, it did work though, because I remember the final line was, "I'm way better than Dead Man. He's just another sucker. He's beating John Cena. You's a stupid mother." And then the crowd says, "Fucker," and it was great.
Yeah.
Welcome back, John Cena, and welcome. See you later, bro. See you not ever again.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's hilarious. I think one of the other things that I appreciate about Punk is that he's white. He is like unapologetically white. He doesn't try to do like this like I'm down, guys. Like, no, he's a white guy. Matter of fact, funny story. When I met him in person once, I unimpressively tried to dap him up, and he was so confused by it. He was like, "What?" And he was like, and so like we were like, this was like at a convention, and I took a picture with him afterwards, and I have that picture somewhere, but you could see me trying to hold in a laugh during the picture because he was like, "I don't know what that is. I'm white."
Shout
Come
out
on,
to
but
Phil.
see again, that's why I like Punk, man. He is who he is.
Good guy.
Well, the next we have is the Royal Rampage last night, and I heard, as far as this match was concerned, that this was a circumstantial creation that just happened to work out, and
it seemed like
this was also the second circumstantial creation that's worked out for AEW, because I've always commended AEW for the Casino ladder match. It's one of my favorite creations of theirs, and I was told at the time that match came from the fact that not told at the time, I've been told recently that match came from the fact that they wanted to do the Casino Battle Royale and didn't have 21 people because of COVID. And so they were like, well, we only got 7 people. Let's do a ladder match instead. And it worked out. And this was another case where COVID kind of hit this Dynamite taping really hard, this Dynamite Rampage taping. And so what do we do with all these people we have?
The Royal Rampage match, yeah.
Let's put them in one big battle royal with the few people we have, and let's make it work. And it did. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought there were some cool stories told in it. I liked it better than
Do you think this was more star-studded than the battle royal we just had for the #1 contender for the interim title a couple weeks ago? I felt like this one felt more star-studded than that.
I thought so.
Because there was like Hangman, and like this one felt a little bit bigger than that one, right?
Yeah.
I just think all around the concept worked better than the Casino Battle Royals have.
Yeah.
Because the Casino Battle Royals is kind of a convoluted concept. It's like you got the different clubs, you got the Joker. It's kind of confusing, and so I feel like this was a lot smoother. It was more organized.
Were there supposed to be a time limit, or were they on Titan time for everybody coming out?
They said 1 minute each person. They said 60 seconds per person.
Gotcha.
Which, of course, that's why Max Caster, his whole entrance is 1.5 minutes. So, like, he finishes the entrance, he does the whole thing, and then the next person just comes right out because he's already done.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I thought there were some cool stories and interesting stories that came out of it because, of course, Swerve and Keith Lee, they had a thing with Butcher and the Blade on Elevation a couple weeks ago, and Butcher and the Blade eliminated Swerve. But to make sure that you're not supposed to be fully the Swerve booing him, he eliminated Orange Cassidy. And I thought, ooh, Swerve and Orange Cassidy. I'm down for that.
I'm liking it.
And of course, Butcher and the Blade eliminated Swerve, and then they were like, well, coming up this week, we have that match. So I paid attention to every elimination as like okay, this could lead
setting
to
something up. Yeah.
Yeah, this is all setting something up, each thing. And so I came away from this interested. And yeah, Brody King's I didn't see that coming at all. And this could actually, like, yeah, and there are things you can springboard off of that into. You could springboard into Moxley and Malachi, right? Like,
yep.
There are things you can do with that. So that's some interesting stuff there. I'm excited for Moxley as champ. So either way, it was a fun concept.
Yeah, I liked it. Good match.
You could get into House of Black versus Blackpool Combat Club if you want to as well.
You could
do like trios matches. I'd be interested in that.
Definitely. Yeah. It's a lot good to come out of this. But yeah, just like I said, I'm super excited for Moxley being champ because I know there's going to continue to be random defenses like this on Dynamites and such. And I just am such a big fan of that I love to see the world champion defending their title, not just on the big shows. So
yeah.
And hey, Van Twinblade said, we got those humpers from last week. Well, I tried to find them. Do me a favor and just send me directly what you said, and I will go ahead and read it on the show because I can't find them. It's only giving me 5 days worth.
We're going to have to redo one of those Ask Grapsody. We tried to do it before, but I think it'd be better to bring it back now that there's more
and I think
things to talk about.
If we do it, we'll do it separately from the core Grapsody, just like a side show.
Exactly.
The same way we release interviews and stuff, so that way we still have the core show.
Yes.
And Jake Salazar says, it was the same way with Undertaker, LOL, except, he's still overrated, more gimmick than wrestler.
He's very overrated to me.
Yeah, it's went opposite for me for Undertaker. I was a big fan as a kid. Now I'm like, suck it.
Yeah, Undertaker actually technically got me into wrestling, funny enough. Yeah. But he's a bit overrated.
Yeah. I think Undertaker didn't become a great wrestler. That like him being a great wrestler is kind of like a hindsight thing. But
it's kind of like the same thing you were just talking about. He didn't get hot until like 2001 when all those, when he
05,
got a bunch,
really,
a bunch of talent to work with. Yeah, I guess. I was trying to think of when the Kurt Angle match was, and that was in 2006. So actually, yeah, there you go.
05 is really when
Yeah.
people started looking at Taker as like a wrestler, and it was really like, I for a long time people dread Undertaker matches. They used to be like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy. He was like really hated on the internet, and then somewhere, like I said, 05, there was a switch that kind of happened with him as a performer, and he started having like matches that were good.
He became MMA boy. That's why.
Yeah, and
He's
then
like, actually-
pretty much 05 on, he became kind of big match Taker.
You mean,
But for
you
a
mean
long
when
time,
they were lying and saying he had the best strikes in wrestling during that time?
Soup bones, baby. Yeah.
Bones. Yo, speaking of, I have to give Natty her flowers. I didn't watch that segment on SmackDown, but her in the ring doing this, hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
I've watched that GIF thousands of times.
I don't know
crying
why
laughing at it.
why they chose Natty to be the one to cook Ronda like this, but
They
I
didn't
love
think
it.
she would, but Natty is in her bag.
Yeah, they
right
were
now.
like maybe they were like Ronda's gonna be able to get her shit off on Natty. No, she is
Natty
not.
has been cooking her, bro. Cooking her.
I want to talk about one thing from SmackDown specifically. Okay. As somebody who kind of expected more for Eli Drake, LA Knight, whatever you want to call him. So, of course, they've been building up Max Dupree debuting his male models and what it was going to be. I don't believe this has any staying power simply because I've been watching wrestling for 30 years. I know when gimmicks don't stick. That said, changing Mace and Mansoor to Massey and Mansoir is the funniest fucking shit. I laughed so hard at Mansoir. I'm like, nope, he is Mansoir going forward. I don't care if he goes back to Mansoor. That man is Mansoir. That name is
Mansoir, man.
amazing.
Friend of the show, by the way.
Yeah, I loved Mansoir. I was so into that.
Yeah, this gimmick has 0 legs, but you guys are gonna enjoy it while it's happening.
Nah,
Yeah, you see how he said, "You guys"? He was like,
I mean,
Massey-
everybody's like, hella people online were like, "This is the great." No, this shit's awful, you guys. I like that. I like what's going. No. Not
No, like Massey was fucking hilarious, and Mansoir, I'm good. I'm down on those. Those are great. And fuck it.
I am
why
gonna watch
not?
my first full WWE pay-per-view today. That it's been a while.
Money in the
so
Bank
I'm
should be a
excited.
good show.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You just jinxed it. It's gonna be.
No,
the
yeah, I
worst
think
show
it'll
of
be a
all
good
time.
show. I still, to this day, and that's actually the next topic, which
Yeah.
is the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's gonna be my first. I'm watching
Shorty,
it in
what
full.
you think?
Mhm.
Money, what you
So,
think?
look, I've been pretty open about the fact that I hate Money in the Bank. I think it's
Yep.
the
You've said it on this
worst thing-
podcast many a times.
Yep, I think it's the worst thing WWE's come up with in years. I think it was a great concept in the beginning because of the fact that, again, it was like you had all of these kind of upper mid-card bordering on main event stars that you didn't have anything for at WrestleMania that year. And so, fuck it, let's throw them all in one match. But
Yep.
we can't have anything over the Intercontinental title because they're all kind of above it. Because Shelton was the Intercontinental Champion in that match. So here's a concept. Let's have them fight for a title shot at the world title. It's a great concept there. You gave it to Edge. Again, Mr. Money in the Bank. The idea that this slithering heel could cash in at any point and you'll never know when it will be was
Great.
fantastic.
Probably the
And then-
best first guy to have with the
Yeah.
chase for sure.
Fantastic. Second year, did it again. The second year, it was RVD. But RVD being the guy who wasn't going to do that. Instead, he's like, I am cashing in, but I'm doing it on my turf. We're doing this at ECW in front of my fans.
Love it.
Great concept. Again, it was a different take on what we did the year before. And then the following year, of course, was circumstantial. Like, oh shit, Mr. Kennedy, who has it, got injured.
Kennedy.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
But then, like, Kennedy's injured, but also so is Undertaker. And so we got to take out Taker, but we don't have the guy who can cash in on him. So let's put it back on Edge. He's slithering heel. It works. Even the fourth year, I'll give it to them because the guy who had previously been the scumbag with got his comeuppance from CM Punk. And even the fifth year, I'll give it to you. CM Punk, Then did what he did the year before, but used it to turn heel.
Baby.
Okay, fine. I feel like Punk was the last time I truly loved it. Because then at that point, then we had, Swagger next. I'm doing this all from memory. But you had Swagger next. That was a dud. You had Kane, who cashed it. Why did Kane need to cash in on Rey Mysterio?
The same night.
That didn't need to happen. Miz, I don't know.
I thought Miz was a
this
good
cash
Money in
in
the Bank.
was fun. Yeah, I think he was a pretty.
I think he was a good Money in the Bank winner.
Again, by that point, I felt like, okay, we've kind of gone to the well of guys just slithering their way in one too many times.
Wait, are you saying you hate Money in the Bank, by the way, because that's how you lost the Quizomania Championship? Is that part of the reason why you like Money in the Bank?
This feels a little bit personal.
No, I think that added to it, but like, but like, okay, Miz is one where like that fit his character, so sure, same deal. But then who was after Miz? Brian was a total waste. That shit.
I hate it when they start the cash in where they would do like sometimes they would come and cash in and they would let the guy be down and you could just go and pin him, and then the next time someone would come in, then you have to wait till the guy get. They kept changing all the things surrounding it too.
But Brian sucked. Like that shouldn't have ever happened.
But no, his celebration after winning that title is iconic.
His celebration,
yes,
of course,
come on, bro.
turned him heel.
Yes,
but regardless, it like that was one of those made a good thing out of shitty booking.
Yeah.
But Brian's Money in the Bank was trash, and same with Alberto Del Rio, also trash. And then who was the year after that? It was Ziggler, who I talked about earlier in the show, and Cena, which they just did just to have a loss. Year after that was Damian Sandow. Was a waste of a cash in, and Randy Orton again. Randy Orton like probably shouldn't have happened because I feel like you kind of neutered Orton in doing that. Year after that was Rollins, and that
best
was
Money in
at
the
least
Bank cash in ever.
That was at least the one that took it back to Edge and was kind of almost an homage to Edge in a way. And yes, he had one of the best cash-ins of all time. Rollins worked. But you're starting to see a pattern here. I feel like there's been more duds than good, right? Because year after that,
there have been more duds than good.
Because year after that was Sheamus, dud. Year after that was Ambrose, which I think was
Ambrose
really
was
good.
great.
Ambrose was good, but again, it's good. The only time a babyface winning it has been good is when it is a comeuppance on the heel who did it before. Like Punk worked because it was comeuppance on Edge. Ambrose worked because it was comeuppance on Rollins.
I think Bayley is also one of my favorite cash-ins because it was one of those where Bayley was due for a long time, and just having her cash in on Charlotte, who nobody wanted to see win, it worked.
Yeah, because that was the year after that, right? So
Charlotte...
2017. So really quick, 2017. So we'll say Corbin, dud. Carmella, her cash in died.
Again,
but
Charlotte.
also
Charlotte cashed in on 3 times.
Yeah, but again, that we wanted to see Asuka's chin, but I feel like it worked out well for Carmella. But then the year after that was who was 2018? I know the women's was Alexa Bliss and
Braun.
Oh, it was a disqualification. His cash-in had a disqualification in it. Fucking done.
Cash-in was terrible. And by the way, I was at that Money in the Bank because it was in Chicago. I wanted Kofi to win. Kofi to win.
Yeah. No, Braun, dud. And yeah, 2019, Brock, dud. And
you didn't like boomboxing?
Like that was funny in itself, but like at the same time, what are we doing? Like he had literally just lost the title. And
he does not need this briefcase at all.
I hated it because I felt like Ali was going to win, and then he pushed Ali off. I hated it.
Yeah, and then his cash-in was basically to hold the title for a month to lose it back to Seth, and then to come and beat Kofi. All that shit sucked. And
Sammy was hotter that year too. Like I thought Sammy should have won the briefcase that year.
Bayley was a good Money in the Bank winner, but then after that, Otis, trash. And
they didn't even give Asuka a chance with the briefcase, which I hated.
Yeah, so that didn't really work out.
It worked out for circumstances, I guess.
Last year, Big E should have been way bigger, didn't work out, and
good cash in. I thought it was a good cash in for what it was. It was clearly the Papa ratings, but I was happy with his win. But
I don't
guy,
like baby faces taking advantage of people. I don't like that. Like that to me, like RVD had the best one from a babyface standpoint of like, I'm not gonna cheat you, but you're gonna do this on my turf. We're gonna do it in my city.
Wasn't Punk a babyface the first time he cashed in?
Right, and again, I feel like it hurt his reign overall because even though like the moment was good, he still looked like a weak champion, and that reign sucked.
The reign did suck.
Yeah, the reign did suck. Like I feel like anytime you set a babyface up to do that, you may give them a moment, but it doesn't work out as a reign because people don't believe them as a champ.
I'm gonna cap and say that it was still a good cash in because it happened on my birthday.
Yeah,
it was a good cash in.
Yeah, and Nikki ASH was the other one.
Shame on
Nikki's,
Nikki's great, by the way, and I hate what they're doing with Nikki.
So I have reason. So I went over every Money in the Bank winner. I have reason to not like this concept in that it hasn't worked out more than it has. The ones that have been great, but there have been a lot of duds in the Money.
Haven't worked out more than it has. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like that's WWE in a nutshell. That they have a lot more L's than they do in W's and a lot of comps. Like look at Hell in a Cell, for example. There are a lot more bad Hell in a Cell matches than there are good Hell in a Cell matches.
I was gonna say break down the same thing for Royal Rumble winners. Like for a while it was to get people over, and then it just started to be an accolade. And it's like as soon as it becomes an accolade and not like this is to get this person over, that's when I fell out of it. You know what I mean? But it's just like, oh, we want this person to have 3 wins. We want the numbers and shit. No, I want you to get someone over with this fucking match type, dude.
So this card,
it did get some people over.
So this card features 6 matches, and this could work out. But a lot of the stuff the problem is a lot of the stuff we've seen before,
a lot of rematches,
like Theory versus BobbyLashley for this WWE United States Championship is something that's unique. I think could be pretty
Lashley
good.
better win that match too.
I could see that.
And this is the first time WWE's ever in the MGM Grand, right? Because that's like they've never. That's always been WCW territory, right?
Yeah, and AEW ran it before as well. But the problem is everything else was booked this weekend because it's the UFC weekend.
There's a fight. There's a boxing fight too, I think.
Yeah.
So Theory and Bobby Lashley, United States Championship. For the WWE Undisputed Tag Team titles, we see the Usos defending their titles against the Street Profits. Promo.
I feel like I've seen this match like 50 times just on TV. So
it's gonna be a good match, though.
We saw it just last year. It's gonna be a good match. I thought promo last night was really good, though, and I thought that was fire. I've seen teams, and that's what I want to see from those guys. I thought it was very good. We have SmackDown Women's Title: Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. Again, it's and
uninspired by this match, but again, Natty, get your shit off, man. I appreciate you.
Natty's cooking.
Natty is cooking Ronda on Twitter and getting these terrible segments off.
We have
when Natty cooked her last night, and then all of Ronda's response was like, "Oh, actually, my child's this age, not that age. You're my friend. You should know." I'm like, Ronda, what are you?
Coppin', please.
Please.
Coppin', please. You losing, bro. Yeah, that was the equivalent of her saying, "Put on the beat." Like
for real.
Put
a beat on.
Put a beat on.
No, you didn't got cooked already. It's over.
The Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Which we'll see Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch.
I think Becky's winning. I think Becky's winning the women's Money in the Bank. I think that she could do the most with the briefcase win. I think her teasing Ronda for a while with that briefcase will be fun. I think she should win. I know that's probably going to be unpopular, but I do think she should win.
I do think, she had pointed out that she has every other accolade in WWE history. She's a Rumble winner.
Told you guys. Yeah. When it becomes just about accolades, it's no good.
Yeah. I think Becky's going to win, and I think she should win, honestly.
I think it needs to be somebody who can hold it for a while. And
I mean, it makes sense if they're going to do Becky and Seth are both holding the briefcases. It's a story. So
maybe. Yeah. And then we have for the Raw Women's Title, Bianca Belair versus Carmella, a match that we've seen so much that they literally teased us with it last year to piss us off. Remember SummerSlam?
Yeah. Look, I do have to give Carmella her
Carmella-
due though, because she tweeted something like, "Look, every time they change my gimmick or make me change my character, put me in a bad spot, I've done well." And I'm like, she's right.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
She has a point.
I'll say this, by the way. So one, I like her new presentation. She has a fucking Titantron video. Who has Titantron videos? That's
Her
so
new
great.
Tron is awesome too.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
The new
Yeah.
theme is kind of dope too. I'm like, yo, all right.
yeah, although I saw in the comments, nobody realizes what that's supposed to be a knockoff of, and that kind of bugs me because I was reading the theme, I was reading the comments, and people were like, "Wow, this is kind of cool. It sounds really original." I'm like, "No, this is a straight knockoff of Girls in the Hood."
Yeah,
like
it
somebody
is.
was even like, "Hey, it kind of sounds like Boys in the Hood." I'm like, "Yeah, because it's trying to be Girls in the Hood by Megan Thee Stallion."
That's exactly what it is. It's just like her first theme was just the Iggy Azalea joint.
The fancy
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But yeah, like I said, there's a little piece of me that saw this match so much that literally, last year at SummerSlam, they were like, "Hey, Bianca could face Carmella," and people groaned because they're like, we've seen this a million times."
To put some heat on it, they have to put the women's match before this match. That's how you put heat on it. Put the women's briefcase match, then you have they maybe cash in tonight. That's how you put it.
What this made me think in the build for all of this is like, man, they sure could use Sasha Banks, man. They sure do miss Sasha Banks in that company, man.
At minimum, right?
They are
Now, this
definitely
match, of
missing
course-
her star power.
This match, of course, was supposed to be was originally going to be Rhea Ripley.
That's
Rhea
right.
got injured really badly in
Yeah, that was brutal.
match. Like she had to have braces after that, didn't she?
Yeah.
So, so of course it's circumstantial that it ended up being Carmella.
And then
That'll probably work out.
Sasha and Naomi had some of their story played a part in this too, right? Like there was going to be something.
No, that was
to do
going
with
into
them.
the last pay-per-view.
That
the
was
last
for Hell in a
pay-per-view.
Cell.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Man.
so who knows? This I think it could end up probably over delivering just because Bianca's as good
Yeah.
as she is and is kind of having the role of her. She's on the role of her life.
She's on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably not even the best run she'll have in her career.
I wouldn't think so.
Honestly, I did think when Claudio did the spot where he did the lift and walked up the stairs, I was like, Bianca did it better.
The press slam walk up the stairs fucking lit. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And then Money in the Bank ladder match, men's Money in the Bank. We will
Money
see
in the Bank.
Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Sami Zayn, Riddle, and Mad Ass Moss, Reg's favorite wrestler of all time.
God, I'm not watching the show again. I forgot. I'm turning it
Oh
off.
my. Yeah. Visionary is coming out of this match with the briefcase, bro. Visionary is winning this briefcase, buddy. Sorry, I know we've had this Riddle conversation, and don't nobody want to see that, bro. Rollins is winning the briefcase, man.
And Rollins is holding the briefcase till Cody comes back.
Rollins coming out and getting the crowd to sing with him his theme song every time when he teases doing the briefcase, and he doesn't. He turns around and walks backstage. Will be gold.
If
Do
Rollins
it.
cashes in at SummerSlam, I don't want this at all. I think that's
I
whack.
don't-
But
but
if he holds it for a while, I want it. But if he's cashing in in a few weeks, I don't want it. I'm not
But see,
interested.
this is a win-win for me because even if he does cash in at SummerSlam, because I've been saying for the longest that I think he's had a better run. He's had a better run over the last year than Roman. This will be vindication for me because if he's the first guy to pin Roman, oh my God. Just log off Twitter, everybody that hates
And
Rollins, because I'm gonna cook this. Like,
Have they specified if it's for the universe for both belts or is it for?
I feel like
Of course not.
I feel like that's
one?
something they would like chicken shit their way out of, like
Right,
They're going
exactly.
to.
Like
They're-
last minute, be like, we never said.
Yeah.
yeah,
But like I feel like that's a thing Paul Heyman as a character could do,
Yeah.
where like Roman's like, because the match at SummerSlam, Roman Brock is last man standing, and so you could have both of them down or something like that, and then just as they go to cash in, Paul's like, no, it's only for one belt, it's only for one
Right.
belt, and and like protect this champion.
That is, I kind of actually like that scenario you just described.
Listen,
Seth Rollins comes down on the last man standing. They're both down. He's like, I'm in this match now, and I'm up, and they just count him. That's a pretty good finish, actually. I like that.
yeah,
That would be great.
Like I said, I don't want them to redo the
Oh
cash
my
in.
god,
That's good. Isn't that a great finish? I'm like, yo, that's a great finish.
Yeah,
that's actually really good.
No, and I
Yeah.
mean, look, if they do that and he wins the Universal title, because I've been saying the end to this should be him winning the Universal title and bringing it back to Raw where it belongs. Bring the Jam belt back. Come on. Yeah. If that's where we're going with this, I'm fine with it. But again, I would take Rollins.
Oh, it has been 3 years since, because WWE used to do a thing where they would swap the belts every 3 years.
Yeah.
Where like what it was 02 where they introduced the World Heavyweight and WWE title on the brands they were on, and then they swapped them in 05, then swapped them again in 08, and then when they introduced the belts in 2016, swapped them in 2019. It's 2022. So this week,
And you know what would make this even better? If he comes out to cash in and he hits Roman with a crossroads, bro. He gets him with a
be able to tell
crossroads
Phil
win.
shit after
Yo.
Speaking of which, so I want to read these last few supers and humpers. Jake Salazar says, since you brought him up, BS he did aside, Benoit was a top 10 technical wrestler. He's always my favorite growing up.
It's not VSC did aside though.
I would
That's
call it BS.
Whoa.
There's not like there's a bunch of situations where BS aside works, but not for Chris.
I don't think we could just take that and put that to
No,
a side.
this isn't a BS.
Whoa.
This BS
He
was
also
a
said
lot.
The Rock is coming nowhere near WWE or accepting any calls with this Vince stuff going
Yeah, no,
on.
Rock then blocked WWE's number.
He done blocked-
number. He just like, yo, quit calling here.
Yo, y'all still got HBK at the Performance Center? Stop calling me, bro.
Ronan Mike Clip says, I would love to see Swerve versus Ospreay. Also, how petty was that last minute good old fashioned battle royal
That
on
was
SmackDown?
pretty petty. That was
Was that more petty than Thunder Rosa coming down to save Tony with the belt? I was like Rosa.
chill, bro. You think I'm about to run down there without my belt? Hell no.
Like, yeah, that was hilarious.
Shauna says, Seth at WrestleMania 31 was the best cash in
Come on,
heist
man.
of the
The
century.
best.
I was there.
Trademark.
I liked it. Yeah, it was dope.
Paul says, hey y'all, hope y'all are doing well. What did y'all think of the versus battle between Omarion and Mario? Mario slaughtered that man, and
Yeah. Mario just cooked all them, and the rest was.
It's probably
chaos.
the worst verses I've ever seen.
Like I said, I love I want it to be chaotic like this. Like I don't
But-
want like everybody's nice and everybody's being I want there to be chaos. I want somebody to be eating watermelon on stage. I want all kind
No,
of wild shit to be
it was classic for all of the chaos and the funny moments. Like
Yeah.
The funniest moment of it to me is again Jeremiah coming out and sounding horrible, and Mario in the background like, yo, y'all sound crazy.
Y'all sound crazy out here.
Yo, that was great.
They got the 03 class of R&B out of here, all in one swoop.
Yeah, Ray J being Ray J. No, it was a classic versus for all of the memes and everything we got
For the
from it.
wrong reasons, for sure.
But,
Not because
yeah.
of great music.
already read that one. Let's see. We got a humper chat that I'm
We
trying
got
to get.
London on the track.
Yo, Mario also talking trash and doing like it's me, and then hitting that drop. Mario, I was like, this is hilarious.
Them R&B niggas are crazy, man. Telling you.
Hey, R&B beef is the funniest beef to me.
It's so funny, man.
Remember when Cisco and R. Kelly were beefing?
It's so
like,
funny. It's like, y'all
was
niggas
great.
do not. What are y'all gonna do? Sing, battle each other? And they're like, yes, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
We got another humper chat. Blood and Guts 2 was fantastic from start to finish. TK should pay the full rights and name of War Games since WWE. From WWE, since WWE's War Games are super watered down and are not the traditional Dusty Rhodes War Games matches. Also, women's Blood and Guts win.
I would love to see a women's blood and guts. By the way,
I know that there was a couple of women in AEW who wanted it this year.
I know I've heard a story. I almost said something out loud that I probably
I know
wasn't
that
supposed to say out loud.
I know that there was some that wanted it, and maybe the just I don't know what wasn't there for it yet. I guess if you were to book that match now, women's blood and guts, who would you put in it, Phil? For AEW.
For AEW, I mean, of course, I think you've got to have a team going against Jay's team because she has a ready-made stable in the baddies. You could just add more baddies. I mean, I know they don't have Red Velvet at the moment, but
I don't know if I'm gonna put the baddies in a blood and guts match.
Yeah, right now I think being blood and guts, I would have that team led by Britt, to be honest, just because that's the thing Britt's known for.
Right, Britt versus Thunder, Team Britt versus Team Thunder, maybe.
That's probably what I would have done.
Yeah.
I think you could easily do Team Britt versus the baddies though, and set up to Britt versus Jade somewhere down the line off of that.
I think it's just like somebody's gonna bleed, and nobody in the baddies are gonna bleed.
You can bring a baddie in specifically to bleed. What's wrong with you, man? Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying that Jade would never allow herself to be
no way.
To do that.
No.
She would just throw one of her red shirts in there to get blood.
The red shirts is so great. No, I would have done I would have done maybe Team Britt with obviously that would also include Jamie Hayter.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that is a nasty comment.
Jamie Hayter, I haven't seen it yet, but Jamie Hayter, Nyla Rose.
I
turned the comments off. I can't.
That is a nasty comment. I'm not reading that out loud. That's
what
crazy.
I could just imagine.
Hold on. I'm trying to put together my women's blood and guts here. Ready? All right.
Ruby.
So we have Britt. Easy. Britt, Jamie Hayter, Nyla Rose, Serena Deeb, and Ty Conti. Those are the 5 on one side. And then on the babyface side, you have Toni Storm, Ruby Soho, Thunder Rosa, Hikaru Shida, and Chris Statlander. Bam! You got women's blood and guts. Yeah. That's it. It's made. That is and if Shida's not available, because Athena's involved with Jade, so that's why I keep that picture separate. But even Chris is involved with Jade, so I don't know. There's ways you could do that. Put in Anna Jay in place of Chris Statlander. Then either way, there was a match that could have been done, but I know it was something that they wanted.
You can't have Anna versus Ty. I guess that's how you break them up, huh?
Yeah, I mean they're not together anymore because Ty is part of the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Ty's a heel.
Yeah, Ty's a heel. So actually, if anything, you could play up the fact that they're on separate sides now. Mm-hmm. So, I think it was doable if they were going to do it.
They could have did it.
Yeah, they could have done it.
So, I do think this is my favorite blood and guts match so far.
Yeah, this is good. Sammy's bump was. I like his bump way better than what they did.
It was definitely filmed way better. And I know people were still giving him shit for using a crash pad, but like this is a much more believable crash pad.
Yeah, no, this is way better.
Because at least this one like had a practical use in that it was the timekeeper's table that was just abnormally big for some reason.
That's a little bit large.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, it was still tables. Like it was
like one of those No Mercy video game tables. How they had the big giant table.
Nobody put Abaddon on their team. I feel like Abaddon would kill it in a blood and guts.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, she could be on the hillside, on Jamie's side.
Let's see. Jake says, remember how Gucci did Jeezy?
Gucci was wild. Gucci he did not care about nothing.
Put your homie in the pack, bro. We smoking on Pookie Loke tonight.
Man.
All right. To close out the show, I posed the question to my 2 comrades here last night, and hopefully you did your homework because it's July 2nd. This is the first Grapsody.
Happy birthday to one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. It was Canada Day the other day. Bret the Hitman Hart. It's his birthday today. The king of the sharpshooter. Shout out to Bret Hart.
Hey,
Shout out Bret Hart.
And if you've learned anything from this episode, Bret was right. There you go.
Facts.
So, we're 6 months into the year. We will do this formally at the end of the year. But right now, where are you guys sitting? We'll start with male wrestler of the year.
Right now, I kind of feel like it's Dax. I feel like Dax has been on a crazy run this year of matches, like as a tag team and as a singles competitor.
You know me, I've said it 500 times on this show. Wrestler of the year. I've seen him do it on a whole bunch of wrestling shows. Speedball, Mike Bailey, far and away, because I've seen it with my own two eyes, him do this with a litany variety of opponents. I've seen him do the match with Takeshita in West Coast Pro with my own eyes. One of people say that's one of the best matches of the year. He's done it with so many people, Lee Moriarty, ACH. I could go down the list of how many amazing matches that Speedball Mike Bailey has done. Every show that he's on, his match is the hottest match of the show. On shows with tremendously talented people, I think the things that he's done has just really cemented him. But also, there's a lot going on. Like Will Ospreay has been doing incredible things. I think they need to both square off at the end of the year to really cement who's the guy. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Speedball Mike Bailey right now, just because I've seen, it's a little bit of bias because I've seen a lot of the shit with my own eyes, and it's just like it's hard to, the structure of a wrestling show and everything that's going on to be the best match every time is crazy. So it's hard to take it away from him.
I'm going to go with an answer that probably won't be true when we do this at the end of the year because
mine's isn't going to be true at the end of the year. I don't
because his year is over. But Cody Rhodes is my wrestler of these first 6 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, because his run essentially ends now, anybody has a chance to top it. But
if we talk about impact, no one has made a bigger impact than what Cody has done. So
yeah. And I think he started the year strong. He came in with that ladder match with Sammy Guevara, but then he ended his year really strong with the Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins, and the two matches prior with Seth Rollins were also both excellent. I think it's Cody Rhodes. I think he has come through and delivered hugely. I think by the end of the year, I'll probably end up changing that answer to John Moxley because I think Moxley has just been consistent all year long. And
Moxley has been fire too.
Yeah, Moxley definitely has been fire, and as long as he stays healthy till December and just keeps going at the rate he's going, I think it'll end up being him. But right now, I'm sitting at Cody just for the impact he's had. What about women's wrestler?
I said it a few days ago on Twitter. I think the things that Toni Storm has done, she's not a champion, but I think that every match that she's had in AEW has been fire. I think she's like a notch above most wrestlers in the company, and I think the things that she does are incredible. All of her matches have been super fire. I love the intensity that she works. I love the style that she works. I love everything that she does. My wrestler of the year right now is a women's wrestler, is Toni Storm, honestly.
I kind of think this is Thunder Rosa's year to be women's wrestler of the year. I feel like it's been coming for a few years. I've been watching her get better and better. I feel like it's her year.
I can't believe women's wrestler we're all going with AEW answers, but to be fair, I'm going with mine just because
I'll watch that other shit.
I would do anything that this person asked. And look, she started her year in January by being on Grapsody, and therefore she already wins. And she brought the belt with her. Nah, it's Jade Cargill.
It's definitely Jade. It's like when I say somebody's the best. Like if I'm like this person's the best wrestler, like Bryan Danielson is that person. He's up there. Every time I mention another person, he's right under Bryan Danielson. That's how I feel about Jade. Like Jade is the wrestler of the year. Anytime I say anything else is under her, you can't deny what Jade is.
Nah,
doing.
Jade is
Jade.
It, and she's so over.
She's
cannot
insanely
believe.
Over.
Yeah, I can't believe. Like, I sat next to a dude at Forbidden Door who was like so mad that Jade Cargill wasn't on this show, and he's like, he was being kind of an ass, and he's just like, I don't want to see none of this Toni Storm or Thunder Rosa shit. And he was
by
like,
the way, Chicago, y'all
it.
did Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa kind of wrong, man.
Speak
Y'all
on
did
it,
not
Phil.
get loud enough for them, man. I didn't like that. Y'all could have got louder for that. I did appreciate some people in the crowd that were getting loud. I did see the Mexican flag in the crowd for Rosa. I did see the towel in the crowd for Tam Nakano as well, which was dope. But no, y'all could have got louder for them. I didn't like that.
And yeah, they said, boy, we just learned something about Will. When did you see when Jade Cargill posted she said, let me step on you? And I was just like, Okay, I don't make rules.
I mean,
Hey,
big
by the
step
way,
and holler at me.
by the way, at Frigé, she wasn't on the card, but did you guys see what she did this weekend? She threw out the first pitch for Southside Chicago White Sox.
Let's go, baby.
And they said it's not Jade yet. She's still great. Look, man, her shit's delivering. I don't give a
this
fuck
green
about
stuff,
none of
bro.
that. Like,
Stop it.
I don't care about none of that. Like, honestly, just the fact that she has such a star presence. I mean, like, okay, as far as like if we're talking performer, pro wrestler of the year, you know, I feel like Bianca or Becky, like we could really pick between the two.
Or Rosa. Rosa's been killing it. Rosa
But
has
as far
had
as like
3
rising
good pay-per-view matches in a row.
But like as far as like rising star this year, it's been Jade Cargill. I mean, yeah, you know, Bianca and Becky are
some things are just bigger than that shit, and Jade is just like what she's doing and what she represents and where she's gonna go is so much bigger than everything that it's hard to not say that she's the wrestler of the year. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I still think it's Rosa though, just because when you look at the pay-per-views in a row, she's had the best match on 2 pay-per-views. She had the best match at Battle of the Belts,
and she's done it outside of AEW too. So shout out to Thunder Rosa.
And you know, had that great cage match in her hometown where she won a title. I think it's Rose this year.
And it's like, because Jonas in the chat said, you need to see the whole package. Just being popular isn't it? I mean, that's like 70% of pro wrestling though, is winning over the crowd. Because I have said that, like, and that was part of the reason why I can't go back and watch any of the shit that took place during those pandemic months, because to me, having a crowd is like, and especially a great crowd that's like into things. Like if a great match is taking place in front of a dead crowd, that to me takes away so much of the match. It does take away. It takes away so much of the match. Like if you get people into what you're doing, that is like 70% of wrestling to me.
Right.
So, next question. Match of the year so far. Final question.
I'm gonna go with FTR versus the Briscoes from Supercard of Honor. I think that's the match of the year, far and away.
Honestly, it's hard to disagree. We were there live. We watched it together. It had all the great.
The three of us got to watch it together. That was the first time we got to like
best live match I've seen.
It's hard to think of anything beyond that, just because all the elements were there, and on top of like us having a great time watching it together, this match was insane. So it's like, yo, that.
Yeah. If I wanted to give anything a runner up, it's probably Page versus Danielson 2. But I really think it's the Briscoes versus FDR.
Yeah. Amazing match. I want to go back.
There's a little bit of recency bias on this one, but I was at both. And I will say that the most fun I've had at a match was FTR versus Briscoes. But shout out to the match we mentioned earlier, Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. I feel like the atmosphere, has Ospreay had probably what could be considered better matches? Probably. But again, to me, a big part of pro wrestling is the atmosphere. And to have that many people that were just screaming their heads off and were into every aspect of the match, that made it for me. There's so much good in Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay hasn't had a crowd like that his whole year, and probably won't. And so for that, I feel
they can barely speak up in Japan. So
I mean,
yep.
I don't know, man. Ospreay Okada at Wrestle Kingdom is still like one of my top matches of the year.
Ospreay and Moxley from what was that? Was that in Chicago too?
Windy City Riot.
Yeah, that was super fire.
Look at you guys just getting all this shit, and you're getting it all
the Mecca.
I'm tired of y'all. Send me something.
We're supposed to find out where All Out is in like what they said end of July. They said they're going to announce it. I think they said the 22nd is when that's going to get announced.
Come back into the city, Tony Khan. Don't go to Hoffman. Come into the city.
The Cow Palace is available, Tony Khan. I don't know. We have something over here. We could do it at a baseball stadium here. I don't know. What do you want from me? Help me.
I mean, I know that like the wrestlers have all been told they're traveling to Chicago. I think at this point it's just where in Chicago.
And I hope Chicago too for Black Wrestlers Matter's sake, because they have a show.
Otherwise, that's going to be like if by this point they have to change all their like travel itinerary, it's going to suck. But I think all the wrestlers are aware that it's Chicago. It's just a matter of where in the city.
Come to Chicago. That way I can make travel plans to go to Grand Slam, and I don't have to make travel plans to go somewhere else.
This is what I would say if I were booking this. If I had the opportunity to book the United Center again, I would basically say if the
back to back,
because I don't know what they're waiting on for the 22nd. I'd basically be like, look, what is the prognosis on CM Punk? If I know I have CM Punk back, book the United Center again. If I'm not sure, go somewhere else.
Now that you say that out loud, that could be exactly what's going on. They're like, yeah, let's wait and see. Wait a couple weeks to see what Phil's going to tell us, and then we'll move on from there.
Listen,
if Phil's going to be there, we book in the United Center for sure.
Listen, you're listening to Phil tell you right now, Phil's going to be there. Come into the city, bro. Don't go to Hoffman Estates, man. Like, don't do it.
If they could pull off Punk coming back, then I feel like that's the one. Just book it at the United Center.
What do they do if Chicago made Punk is not back though for the main event?
Hangman versus
Mox.
Yeah, is what I would
for
do.
Sure.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be one of the best programs you could run.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I wanted to see that anyway. But but if you can't do Punk, then
that's the way you do it.
Listen, hey, if we get two straight AEW pay-per-views at the United Center, forget it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, but I don't know. So that's and finally, okay, one last question.
Spread the wealth, Tony Khan.
Tag team of the year.
FTR. It's FTR.
Damn it. He said my name at the presser. Young Bucks. I can't go against the Young Bucks, man. They're the greatest tag team of all time. Every match that they did it. They just did one yesterday. Double springboard Meltzer driver. That's just a regular light Wednesday spot.
Nick Jackson
just lit up.
Nick Jackson's ridiculous, man.
But Young Bucks, baby.
It's FTR. FTR.
No, it's totally FTR. I love the Young Bucks. My favorite tag team of all time.
FTR found a different gear this year, and I feel like FTR.
Remember, there was talk of what if they go back to WWE? Remember, someone said that out of their
well, that was the thing. Was like FTR to me was riding off of a lot of their NXT success for a long time, and they have been in NXT since 2017. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this year, with the change in the music, with the change in the gear, with the logo, with the they're just a more explosive team than they've ever been. And this whole 7-star FTR stuff, all of it's just clicking now. I feel like this FTR deserves all of it. I said before, I've said it on Twitter, I don't think FTR should have won the tag titles in 2020. I think there were like 3 or 4 other teams in AEW that were ahead of them that should have won the titles before them. I think FTR today is the best tag team that, one, they've ever been, and 2, that's around today. Absolutely FTR.
And when people say best in the world, it usually isn't real. Like, I'm the best in the world, like maybe in your company, but like this, in this case, like this tag team is the best tag team in the whole world. FTR now at this moment.
And not just because of the Grapsody stuff. Like,
no.
I
even if they didn't say that,
that,
like, just these guys are on a different, and with the added element of Dax, doing incredible singles matches randomly too. Like, these guys, this was their year.
They said, and I see in the chat, yet not AEW champions. Like, that's the thing, is the story.
Yeah, and they're not even the champs.
But and the thing is, they shouldn't be. Like, I think that the story has been for them to build up to collecting all of these belts until we get to that last one.
That's the one.
I think that's the one. I don't think they should be AEW tag team champion yet. I think now that they've got the IWGP, now that they have all of these belts that the Young Bucks are also known for holding, now you have a story to tell of all of these belts. The AAA tag team titles, Young Bucks have held. ROH tag team titles, Young Bucks have held. IWGP tag titles, Young Bucks. And the AEW tag titles. You put all 4 belts on the line. 4 belts that now both teams are known for, and like a 2 out of 3 falls match. That's what I want to see. 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh my God.
All 4 belts. And if you did it at All Out in Chicago.
We're out of here.
I was just going to say, if you don't have Punk at All Out, I think that they should main event that show.
That could be the main event right there.
I feel like that's the time to main event the card with a tag team match.
I agree.
They're saying in the chat, by the way, they're like, Patrick said, FTR hasn't won the PWG tag titles. It's still what the Bucks are known for.
Yo, by the way, the Bucks wearing their old gear with the ROH and everything on the vest. Man, come on, man.
Chef's kiss, baby.
Doing
I love it.
that back rake spot with LP, which LP is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. He's one of the most legitimately funny wrestlers out there. And I waited all match for last, like, do the back rake spot. And when it started, I was like, yes.
I'm always so happy to see when wrestlers are in the ring with Sting and you just know they're having so much fun. That's what it felt like for LP in that match. Like, I'm in here with Sting, man. This is the best.
That's the thing I was saying earlier, though. Sting was my favorite wrestler as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you told me as a kid, though, that, hey, you're going to see Sting wrestle a whole bunch in your lifetime, but the majority of it is like in person. But the majority of the times you see it is going to be like in 2022.
Yeah. You'd be like, what?
When the man is 63.
Are you sure?
And they're going to be the matches you enjoy the most. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. That doesn't even make any sense.
And he's going to do New Jack spots. He's going to jump off stuff through tables. You'd be like, bro, what are you talking about? No, he's not.
Man, this was my first time ever seeing Sting wrestle in person. And it was at the United Center. Like, come on, man.
Yep. That's fire.
Yeah, no, I've now seen Sting. I saw him last year at Double or Nothing. I saw him at Revolution this year. I saw him at Grand Slam last year. For whatever reason, I keep getting these Sting matches. And now I've seen him at Forbidden Door. It's great. I got a lot of pictures of Sting on my phone. But hey, guys, this was Grapsody, an extended
supersized edition of Grapsody today.
I wanted to make sure we got this year-end stuff, or not year-end, but I guess halfway through the year stuff out because we're here. This is a good to evaluate it. Let us know. Let us know on Twitter. Let us know in the comments below who is your wrestler of the year so far, halfway through. Who is your female wrestler of the year? So male, female. Tag team and match of the year so far. What have you got? We're gonna do this formally. We'll do a big Grapsody Awards deal at the end of the year. But until then,
and it's 5. I'm doing BW 500 is starting. I'm gonna announce the number one person right here on Grapsody when it is happening. So there's a lot of cool things that are gonna be happening this year.
I'm so excited. We should get him on, whoever it is.
Oh yeah, definitely. Could not be a him. You said him. It could be a her. You know,
I said like apostrophe.
Oh, you said
E-M.
get on. Okay.
Yeah, get him on. Whoever.
Don't be spoiling anything, okay?
Especially because last year.
No, honestly, I don't. There's like it's up in the air right now, so it could be anything. Could be anybody.
Yeah. So let's see.
Yeah. Yo, if you pick Sasha number 1, we got to make that happen, I guess.
Yep.
Sasha, call us, Sasha.
Yeah, we'll get whoever it is. We will do everything in our power to get whoever it is. Black Wrestling's 500, number 1, right here on Grapsody. Speaking of which, folks, that's the edition of Grapsody. Oh wait, I got one number check. I don't want to miss this one. Joseph Snirk.
Snirk.
To get his picks in for men, he said his male is Dax Harwood. And the female is Saya Kamitani.
Current white belt champion for Stardom. That's a good pick. Saya's killing it right now.
There we have it, folks.
That's it.
I'm glad I got to be here for an extended edition of Grapsody because I have to take my kid to acting today.
Yeah, I was wondering, I know Will's gonna run out of here sometime soon.
Listen, Eric, you gotta wait. By the end of the year, I'll be able to make a firm case for Seth for the rest of the year. I can't do it yet, but you gotta wait.
I don't think you're gonna have that.
Like I said,
just
at the end of the year,
let it marinate.
I have to change. My has to change for wrestler of the year unless somehow nobody hasn't been. Cody had the first 6 months.
Listen, if he pins Roman, I might have a case.
The guy pins the guy. That's going to be hard to fight, hard to argue. So, yeah.
See you next time, folks.